Hello. Today we are going to have a really fun live together. We're going to be going over the top 55 questions that we get asked as raw vegans. So you can also post in the chat if you have any of your own questions. Obviously, they're probably going to be some of the top 55. So you can stick around and listen to all of those. But I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have in the chat. But this is the top 55 questions that we get asked as raw foodies. And yeah, the bundle is going on right now. The Vegan Health Bundle is happening, and you can get the Vegan Health Bundle by clicking the link in my bio here on Instagram, or you can get it from the link in the description box below if you are watching on YouTube. So you're gonna wanna go check it out, link in my bio. And the bundle has 83 downloads, and they're vegan, oil-free, and there's lots of raw. In this bundle, we have approximately 30% of the bundle is raw. So that is a great chunk of the bundle. It's raw focused. Not only do you get all the stuff from everyone else, you're getting 8 things from Nate and I. My brand new, never before released Align and Awaken Affirmation Meditation Challenge. This is a 30-day challenge, and every day you get loads of information, but also a new 25 to 35 minute video that has breath work, visualization, and 100 affirmations that you say to yourself in your mind when you're listening. And each day is different. There's a different topic for each day. There's overcoming procrastination. There's learning to love your body at every stage, connecting with your future self. All of these topics, every single day there's a different topic with different affirmations, and you say 3,000 positive affirmations with me over 30 days. And that course is going to be selling for $197. So even if you use the 40% off coupon and you just bought the course, you still wouldn't be able to get it for the price of the bundle. So you only pay $49 to get the bundle. And when you buy the bundle, you get a link to download all 83 things, including that course. So you're gonna wanna go get the bundle. There's only 4 days left to get it. It ends on March 10th at 11:59 p.m. PST time. So that's like 3 a.m. New York time on the 11th. But go get it now. Leave the live, go to the link in my bio, go to the link in the description box below. You can always come back to this video. We're gonna be here for a while because we have 55 common questions that we get asked as raw vegans. So I'm gonna answer those in this live. So stick around, it's gonna be a really fun one. I guess we could get started. Okay, top 55 questions that we get asked as raw vegans. Okay, number 1, where do you get your protein on a raw diet? Good question. We get our protein from all of the plants that we consume. So there are amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein, and you can get all the amino acids that you need from the food, but you have to eat enough and you have to get variety in. Those are the 2 main things that you really need to think about, because it's not just protein, it's everything else, like vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and fiber and everything else. If you are under eating, it doesn't matter if you're raw, if you're vegan, if you're omnivore, whatever. If you are under eating, you're likely not getting enough of everything. So make sure you eat enough, get adequate calories for your needs and your activity needs. So not just your BMR, which I like to refer to as your bare minimum requirement, not just your BMR. You need to have your BMR plus any activity that you're doing through the day, which includes talking, working, running errands, chasing your kids, doing your workouts, walking around, moving stuff, whatever that activity is, because your BMR is at complete rest. You're not moving. You're laying in bed for 24 hours. That's how they get the BMR. So if you are only consuming your BMR, you're not compensating for all the energy that you expend throughout the rest of the day. And you need to compensate for that. And plus you need all of that nutrition. So not just protein, but fiber and vitamins and minerals and all that good stuff. So We get our protein from our fruits and vegetables because there is protein in all plants. And another question is too, usually with that one, is how do you build muscle on a raw diet? The best way you do that is, number one, you eat adequate calories to compensate for your needs. So again, your BMR plus your activity. You're gonna need to eat a wide variety, obviously, same thing. And you're gonna need to work out, because eating the food doesn't build the muscle, it's putting the muscle under tension, which builds the muscle. So you gotta get in the gym, you gotta work out, gotta lift heavy weights and be consistent with it, and that's what builds the muscle. If you're under eating, again, on any diet, you are probably gonna struggle in more ways than just protein. So yes, we get all our protein from the food we eat. My RDA for protein is roughly 46 grams a day, and I eat around 55 to 85, and I don't even try. But if you wanted some like protein focused foods, sprouted lentils, sprouted chickpeas, all the sprouts, those are gonna be great. Your leafy greens, your vegetables, but fruit has protein in it as well. Just eat a wide variety so you're getting a good pool of amino acids in there as well. So next question number 2 out of 55. How do you get enough calories without eating cooked food? Great question. We need to eat more often on a raw diet. We need to eat more volume because cooked food is higher in calorie density for the most part. We need to eat more raw food because it's lower in calorie density. So we have to eat more volume of raw to get the same amount of calories as you would cooked, because with cooked food, you're cooking off the water, you're changing the fiber content, you're condensing it into a denser calorie source. Whereas with raw, you're eating higher whole fiber and higher water content, which fills your stomach up faster. So you feel full, but it digests so fast that you need to eat more, and there's not as many calories in that. You can fit usually roughly around 500 to 700 calories in your stomach of raw food because of the water and fiber content expanding your stomach. But it's only 500 calories. So if you're only eating 3 times a day, you're eating 1,500 calories, that's probably not enough. Usually aim for 2,000 calories. I usually like to eat around 2,400 calories a day, give or take. Everyone's gonna be a little different, but aim for 2,000, and that would be like 4 meals a day, give or take, plus snacks. It's okay to eat often on a raw diet, and it's actually encouraged in our opinion, because we need to get enough. That's the number one reason why people struggle on a raw diet, is they are not eating enough calories. They think they are because they feel full, but then, they go long hours without eating. They might be eating smaller portions. They might be skipping meals, getting too busy, which, it's human to get busy and forget to eat. But making sure that we get enough calories from eating more often is really helpful. So yes, you can get enough calories on a raw diet, but you just have to eat more. I also recommend starting earlier in the day, which science has shown that breakfast is really important. So having calories earlier in the morning, especially for women, and especially for women in perimenopause and menopause, super important to have our metabolism on point by starting to eat earlier in the morning and to get enough calories through the day so we can maintain our muscle mass. Super important. So starting earlier in the day by getting the majority of your calories in before lunch can really help with lunch and dinner, because if lunch is only 500 and dinner is only 500 calories, gotta get enough. We gotta get enough in before. We have a question in the chat. Nourish with Nancy says, what do you do about cravings while coming for family and overall? While coming for family, I'm assuming through gatherings and stuff like that, like family social events, and overall. Cravings are a symptom of hunger usually. Of course, there's peer pressure and convenience and habit and all that kind of stuff, comfort. But usually we crave things that we habitually choose. So we habitually eat the same things at family gatherings. We habitually choose the same things, it's usually the same stuff, right? It's like pizza, pasta, nachos, whatever, the same stuff that we always eat, whatever that is for you. Everyone's gonna have their different go-to menu, whatever that is for you, it's simply because those choices have become habits. So you default to craving those when you're hungry or bored or tired or whatever. When it comes to changing our cravings, some people say, like, when do the cravings go away? They don't actually go away, they change. So you're always going to have a craving for fuel if you're hungry. What that craving is dependent on your current habits and your past habits. If you currently always default to takeout when you are feeling hungry, then you're gonna crave takeout when you are hungry. When you switch, and it takes time and practice and repetition and consistency and all that, the more often you choose the healthy option when you have a craving, the more quickly that your cravings eventually change to raw food. Like right now, I've been raw for over 10 years now. When I feel hungry or want something to eat, I default crave raw food because I've chosen it so many times that my body just defaults to it. It's my reality. And it was not like that in the beginning. It took time for me to shift so that the cravings changed. So I hope that answers that question. Don't forget to grab the bundle. The Vegan Health Bundle is happening right now. The link is in my bio here on Instagram or on YouTube. It's in the description box below. So go get the bundle. You're getting 83 downloads valued at $5,600, and you only pay $49 to get access to all of those downloads. You pay the $49, you get a link, you can download all of the ebooks, including 8 things from Nate and me. We've got the Affirmation Meditation Challenge, Nate's brand new smoothie ebook. So if you're looking for calories, this is a smoothie Nate made this morning on his live. He's going live every morning at 9 a.m. PST during the bundle. This is the strawberry shortcake. It's a good one. Got a comment, grabbed it last night. Yes, go grab the bundle. I'm so glad you got it. I hope you enjoy all of the content. People buy the bundle and they're shocked at how much stuff you get in the bundle. There's videos, there's cooking classes, there's 30% of the bundle is raw food focused. So go get the bundle. It's a great way to support your raw journey. So if you like content like this, go grab it because it also supports us as well. So please check it out. If you haven't yet, go to the website and scroll through because you get everything on the website and all you pay is $49. It's amazing, but there's only 4 days left to get it. So go grab it. Question number 3 in our 55 questions that we get asked as a raw vegan. What about B12? Do you need to supplement? Good question. I believe that everybody, regardless of your diet, needs to check their B12 levels. This is a super important across the board nutrient that we need. And B12 is actually made by a bacteria. It's made for us in our guts. It's made for us in nature. We need that bacteria to create B12 for us. And most people get some of it in their animal products. But interestingly enough, a lot of people who are deficient in B12 eat animal products. So it's not a vegan problem, it's an everybody problem. And the reason is because B12, since it's made by a bacteria, it's our modern lifestyles that have caused this issue with B12 deficiency. It's not just a vegan thing, it's an everybody thing because most of us live in cities and we like to wash our hands after we go to the bathroom, which is a good thing. We wash our produce and all of this, but in return, we have limited our access to this bacteria, like live wild soils. And also like living in nature, gardening, and having access to that bacteria through the natural soils and natural springs in nature has limited us the exposure to this bacteria. So in our guts, we should be making our own B12 in our guts with a healthy, good microbiome. But most of us have a weak microbiome because of our diets, because of our past, because of all kinds of reasons. Living in cities, living sterilized, all of that has limited our guts' ability to produce B12. So the answer to the question, what about B12? Do you need to supplement? I personally think supplementation is wise if you need it. If you don't need it, obviously don't worry about taking it. You'll only know if you take a blood test and get your B12 tested regularly. I've tested my B12 and I'm above mid-range, and I haven't taken a B12 supplement in a long time. I might take a tablet once in a while if I remember, but I really don't take a lot of it right now. I also don't take a lot of vitamin D. We get that from the sun, so just spend some time in the sun and that'll help boost your vitamin D level. But again, get tested. If you are deficient or you're low in those vitamins, there's no shame in taking a supplement or doing things to get those vitamins up. Especially as a vegan, you'll want to get vegan vitamin D, vegan B12. Mary Ruth's is a good brand. Garden of Life has some vegan ones too. But more naturally, just get out in the sunshine, get out in the garden, and expose yourself to the bacteria and the sun, which are our environmental ways to get those vitamins. They're not necessarily meant to be acquired from our diet. They're meant to be acquired from being outside and being in nature. So that's what gets us those vitamins specifically. If you're worried about iodine, eat more sea vegetables, maybe get some dulse, shake some dulse on your salad to get some iodine in there. If you're worried about vitamin K2, which is a typical one, again, K2 is made by a bacteria. Our gut microbiomes are endangered. They're considered endangered because of our diets. We eat so little fiber in general, and the vast majority of people aren't even getting their 5 a day, bare minimum fruits and vegetables. Most people are eating like 5 to 15 grams of fiber a day in their diet, which is pitiful. Considering the RDA is around 30 grams, Nate and I eat around 85 to 100 grams of fiber a day in our diet because we value our gut microbiome, and that's their food source. So we need to have fiber and fiber variety. And if we don't have those bacteria that are converting vitamin K1 into K2, then our bones and our teeth can suffer because we need vitamin K2 for proper bone health and dental health. So vitamin K2, if you're worried about that, the best food source for vitamin K2 is natto. Natto is a fermented soybean product. And I'm personally not too much a fan of the fresh natto. It's kind of slimy and it's an acquired taste. I know Dr. Karen Dina, she loves fresh natto. I'm not personally a fan, but that said, you can get it freeze-dried. Freeze-drying preserves up to 97% of the nutrition of whatever food you're freeze-drying, and it's considered raw. Freeze-drying is a raw, acceptable form of food preservation. So we get freeze-dried natto. And we add it to our dressings. We sprinkle it on our salads. We sometimes add it to our wraps just as a little bonus boost, like just half a teaspoon or whatever of the freeze-dried natto, so that we can get our vitamin K2 from a whole food source. But you can get vegan K2 in supplement form as well. So yeah. Next question is a similar one. Question number 4 is, how do you make sure you get enough iron and calcium? Those are great questions as well. I know vitamin E is another challenging one too, and selenium, so we'll add those into the mix. Iron is quite easy to get on a raw vegan diet, and calcium too, for that matter, if you eat enough variety of plant foods. So this includes greens and vegetables. Greens and vegetables and sprouts are actually higher in minerals overall. Minerals and protein is kind of where they shine, and vitamins and hydration is where fruit shines, and that's why we value both. We don't think one is better than the other. We think that they are both necessary. They work together to provide us whole health. So having more greens, lots and lots of greens. Bok choy is a really great green for calcium. Some of the Asian greens as well, so good for calcium. Microgreens are amazing for minerals as well. You have to eat a lot of them though, right? Except for sunflower microgreens. You really only need 1 cup of chopped sunflower microgreens to get 6 milligrams of iron. Men need 8 milligrams a day, and women need around 18 when they're menstruating and pregnant. So that's 3 cups. 18 milligrams of iron is 3 cups of chopped sunflower microgreens. And that's just one food that you're eating throughout the entire day. So it's actually really easy to get your iron if you're eating enough calories and you're getting a good wide variety of food. I usually eat around 24 to 30 grams of iron throughout the day because I eat so many greens and so many vegetables and sprouts and things like that. Again, the sunflower microgreens are powerhouses. They're amazing. Definitely something that you should be including in your diet. And calcium as well, greens, sprouts, vegetables, those are going to be great sources of calcium. Aim for around 1,000 milligrams a day, roughly. You could even do a little less as a vegan, like 800, I would say. I've seen, again, don't quote me on these numbers, the average is 1,000. But if you can get a little bit more than that, that's great. But more greens, more sprouts, and it's pretty easy if you're eating enough. If you're under eating, again, like I said earlier, you're gonna be under eating all kinds of things. It's not just calcium that you're under eating. It's not just iron that you're under eating. It's not just protein that you're under eating. You're under eating everything when you under eat. So it's super important to make sure that you're getting adequate calories so that you also get adequate nutrition, because you're gonna be eating nutrient dense foods. So if you want recipes that include a lot of these foods and you want to expand your menu, go get the Vegan Health Bundle right now. You have 4 days left to get it. That's it. So go get it now. Click the link in my bio and the link in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. Go get it. I don't mind if you leave the live to go get the bundle. Please go grab it. A lot of people say, yeah, I'll get it. And then the 4 days will be gone in a blink of an eye. And then you'll be like, oh, I meant to get it, but I didn't. So please leave the live, go get the bundle, and then come back. I'll be here for a while because we've got 55 questions to go through and we're only on number 5. So please go grab the bundle if you haven't yet. There's loads of amazing content in there. And 30% of the bundle roughly is raw focused. So if you're into raw recipes, it's a great option. Question number 5. Is it hard to get omega-3s without fish or flax oil? Great question. So as a vegan, we don't do fish oil. And fish oil is actually, when you zoom out, it's actually a byproduct of the fishing industry. And they market it as omega-3 source. So we don't do the fish oil. We also don't do flax oil because we are oil-free. The best way to get omega-3 is to eat more chia and whole chia and whole flax every day. So put like a tablespoon in your dressing. You could add it to your smoothies. We don't like to add fats if we can to our smoothies. We prefer to have those with our greens because we do need fats to absorb certain fat solubles from our greens and our veggies and our salads. So we like to put the chia or the flax in there or in the wraps. You get the Tales from the Tailgate ebook in the bundle. So when you buy the bundle, link in bio or in the description box below, you get to download our Tales from the Tailgate ebook, and there are wrap recipes in there. And these are travel focused wraps that we take traveling. So they're great for school, for work, for travel, for road trips, for camping, for hiking, all of those. We have those in the Tales from the Tailgate ebook, which you get as part of the bundle. Again, link in bio or in the description box below. But yeah, the omega-3 thing. So there's only one family of enzymes that converts omega-6 and omega-3 into their active components. So the same family of enzymes converts omega-3 into EPA and DHA, and omega-6 into its pro-inflammatory constituents, or whatever you want to call that word, compounds, whatever. It's the same family of enzymes. So the majority of people are eating way too many omega-6s, which are super easy to get because they're in the nuts, they're in the oils, they're so easy to get, omega-6s. And, when you break down omega-6, those enzymes break it down into pro-inflammatory things. Now, we do need a little bit of omega-6 in our diet, but most people are eating 20 times more omega-6 than they are omega-3. And when they have this offset ratio, all of their enzymes are working on the omega-6s, and hardly any of them are able to work on the omega-3. So you really don't get very many benefits from the omega-3s that you're eating if you're eating too many omega-6s. If you bring it down to a 1-to-1 ratio, the same amount of omega-6 as you're getting omega-3, the enzymes are able to work on both and you get more EPA and DHA. If you have, it's about 1-to-1 ratio to about 4-to-1, 4 times omega-6 to omega-3. That's like the range between 4-to-1 to 1-to-1. So what we want to do is lower the omega-6s and increase the omega-3s that we're consuming so our enzymes work properly in there. Robin says, I have bought the bundle a couple times, but how do you save the recipes after time they went away? You get 1 year to download all the content. Once you download it onto your device, you have them forever, but you have to actually download it onto your device. Whatever device you're using, it's going to be different options, but on a desktop computer, you just click on the link, open it, and it'll say download. Just download it onto your computer, and then when you want to open the recipe book, you just go to the recipe book that you downloaded on your computer. So it'll be a file, you'll just have it on your desktop or wherever you put the file when you download it, and it'll be there for you for as long as you keep the file. So you don't need the email. You just need the email to download it. Once it's downloaded, it's yours forever. So we recommend putting them in a safe backup as well, so you have access to those. If you download it onto your phone, you can download it on Apple products. There's a Books app where you can download the PDFs, and then you just access it from your Books app. You don't need the email anymore. Because we only give a year, we pay every month to host the files, and we can only do that for a year. We can't do it for a lifetime. Otherwise, it would be not worth it for us to do the bundle if we had to host forever. So we give you a year, which is more than enough time because it only takes 10 minutes to download everything. So take that time, download the content, and put it on your device. So that's where you access. So I hope that helps. How important is creatine, carnosine, and taurine in the vegan diet? We could get those from raw foods and vegan foods. Actually, creatine you make in your body anyways, so it's not necessary to eat that. Carnosine as well. They're not like, again, if you eat enough variety and you eat enough calories, you get enough of what you need to sustain yourself. And also being wise, planning, make sure that you plan. Obviously, if you're going to be eating nothing but lettuce and bananas all day, you're going to be lacking stuff. You have to get a wider range of foods in. And if you're worried about the protein thing, just increase your sprouts, increase your greens, and increase your vegetables. And I personally don't worry about those at all. I just know that I'm getting enough from all of the variety that I'm eating. Question number 6, what do you do about cravings for processed foods, warm or cooked foods? Again, as we mentioned earlier, the cravings thing is based mostly on habit. Now, again, I know there's other reasons for craving, but usually we crave processed, warm or cooked foods because that's what we typically choose when we feel like we need fuel or comfort or whatever it is. We default to what we habitually choose. So when you have a craving for something like that, what I did in the beginning was I just recognized the craving. I didn't shame myself for having a craving for pizza. I didn't belittle myself for having a craving for Chinese takeout. I didn't belittle myself for having any cravings like that. All I did was recognize it with a neutral stance. I said, I have a craving for this. That must mean that I need fuel. So what do I fuel myself with? Make a smoothie, make a salad, have a bowl of fruit, whatever that looks like for you, whatever you feel like having that's raw or vegan, make that instead. I guess raw because we're talking cooked foods here, but make that instead and fuel yourself, because the majority of cravings are just a signal that you need fuel, and the craving that you have is typically a reflection of what you typically choose when you are hungry. So hunger is a completely natural thing, and the craving is like a branch that stems from the hunger and is like, hey, it's like giving you these signals like, let's have some fuel, we want some fuel, and you're gonna crave what you usually have anyways. Our frames of references. If you never ever had pizza, if pizza wasn't a thing in society, if we never even knew what pizza was, we wouldn't crave it because we wouldn't eat it. It wouldn't even be a thing. So we only crave what we have frames of reference for and what our habits are. And you can change those habits. You can change your cravings by changing what you choose when you're hungry. So that's what I did. I just recognized it neutrally and I said, I just need fuel. And then I'd fuel myself up and I'd feel so great. Another thing you can do with cravings is if you have that moment where you're like salad or pizza or whatever it is, ask yourself, what do I truly want? Do I want the salad or do I want the pizza? The want is neutral. We have to take the emotions out of it. The want is neutral. What is it that you really want for yourself? Do you really want to choose healthier? Then choose the salad. It's a simple answer. We all know what we should be choosing and what we want to be choosing. It's about taking that action and doing it. And something that can really help gravitate you over towards the salad is instead of focusing on the negative effects of a less ideal choice. For some people it works. Like you can think of all the negative things that the pizza does to you and how you feel and all that. But it's not enough of a deterrent for the majority because we are reward-driven creatures. We choose based on the reward that we're going to get from the choice. And the reward from eating the pizza is quite high because you get a big dopamine hit. Maybe your friends are eating it too, so you feel accepted. It's convenient, it's tasty, it's easy. They're very strong rewards that draw us towards comfort even. That's a big one as well. But if we take a step back and instead of focusing on the negative effects of a less than ideal choice, we can think of the positive effects of a positive choice. And I like to say, if you can think of 5 things that you feel about yourself when you choose the salad, think of those and embody those feelings, like actually feel them about yourself. Do you feel empowered? Do you feel accomplished? Do you feel excited? Do you feel proud of yourself? All of these feelings can help gravitate you over towards the salad choice because it's a positive choice and you feel good when you do it and you're like, I want to feel that. So it's that immediate reward of feeling those feelings. So you're more likely to gravitate towards the salad. We have a comment here. How did you deal with getting really hungry, even if you've eaten loads of fruits and vegetables? I never get really hungry if I eat enough calories. It really comes down to eating enough calories, and loads of fruits and veggies can mean different things to different people. When I see people eat loads of fruits and veggies, to me, it's not enough. I look at their salad and I'm like, that's not enough salad. I would need like 2 or 3 times that. So it's subjective. What is loads of fruits and veggies? I don't know what that is because some people think they're eating enough, but they're not actually. So they do need to eat more. Another thing is chewing your food really well. You have to chew your food really well and thoroughly so you can fit more in, but also exposing a lot of that surface area so you can digest better. The bacteria can work on it better. But again, I would need to know what loads looks like to you. And I would track my intake in Chronometer to make sure that you're getting enough. And if you feel hungry, eat. There is no shame in eating if you feel hungry. Hunger is a natural signal that your body is giving you to give it fuel. So if you are hungry, eat more. Even if it's an hour later, if it's 2 hours later, have a snack, eat more fruits and veggies, get more variety in as well so you get a broader range of nutrition. Fruit is really great for adding lots of calories quickly because fruit is quite high in the energy department. So eat more fruit and chew more thoroughly, eat more fiber-rich foods, maybe add some sprouts in there if you want something a little bit heartier. Add some sprouts like sprouted lentils, sprouted chickpeas, maybe even bloom some black forbidden rice and add that. You can do the sprouted oats from 1 degree. Those are considered raw because they are steamrolled at 118 degrees Fahrenheit. So they're considered raw, even though they don't say raw on the label. We have a friend that called the company and indeed they use 118 Fahrenheit. So have some sprouted rolled oats from 1 degree if you want to add that bulkiness while staying raw. So Amel's Art says, I started listening to my body a while ago and it rejected all fast food. Yes, it's just not good for us. How can I increase my gut flora when I don't like salads? I did some salads, but it's not something I enjoy eating. So your gut bacteria needs fiber. And what I would suggest, I didn't like salads when I first started raw either. Like before I went raw, you couldn't get me to eat a piece of lettuce. I was in the junk food realm and I needed the salt and the oil and the sugar, and I was really stuck in there, and the thought of eating a salad was not appealing to me at all. But I had to eat them in order to like them. So you gotta keep going at it. Keep eating the salads. Try different dressings and dips and things to get you to like it. And also choose vegetables that you do like right now. You don't have to, add dandelion greens if you're not into dandelion greens yet. Add those slowly, add the bitters slowly. Start with something simple like maybe some iceberg lettuce, some tomatoes, and get a really good dressing. Get the bundle as well, the link in my bio or in the description box below. You're gonna get hundreds of dressing recipes. My meal plan volume 3 has 90 recipes in there, and about the lunches and dinners are all salad based or soup or whatever. So those are some great options. There's some sauce recipes in our burger book. There's over 100 recipes in Tales from the Tailgate that you get to download as well. And those are some of our favorite dressings that we like to take traveling and camping. And sometimes you just need to get a good dressing to put in your salad so that you can eat those foods. But the only way to grow your gut is to eat plant fiber. That is what grows your gut. So if you want to grow your gut, you got to eat the salads. And again, start with the veggies that you do like. If you do like tomatoes, have a big tomato salad and add a little bit of the stuff that you don't really like. Go slow with those little things. And over time, you get used to it, your taste buds change, and you do start to enjoy it as your gut grows, because your gut will ask for it too. Your gut will crave those fibers as well. So work with your gut, not against it. Don't force yourself, but challenge yourself. Again, don't force yourself, challenge yourself. You want to embrace that and start to enjoy more salads. You can even add fruit to your salad, but really, you got to get a good dressing. If you can get a good dressing, you can eat massive salads. How many recipes in the bundle soy tofu? Are many recipes in the bundle soy or tofu? So the bundle is a mix of vegan food, so it's both cooked food and raw food. About 30% of the bundle is raw vegan focused. So as raw vegans, we don't use tofu. We will use miso, which is a fermented soy product, but you can use chickpea miso, which is soy free. So you have that option as well. And if there's soy sauce, you can just use coconut aminos in replacement if you are allergic to soy products. But there are some of the cooked food recipes that do have tofu, but you can replace it with other things like mushrooms or sprouted beans or whatever else you want to use instead. You don't always have to use tofu, or just skip those recipes. Try the other recipes that are in there. I don't know, because I'm raw, I don't eat tofu, so I haven't really looked at much of the cooked ones, so I don't know exactly how many recipes have those. But again, you can switch it up. Use the bundle as inspiration for you to get more plant foods in, whatever that looks like to you. So go grab the bundle. Link is in my bio or in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. How long till you were consistent did you relapse and get back on track? Great question. I started learning about a raw diet in 2004. So over 20 years ago, I learned about raw food. For the next decade, I kind of went on and off. I did other diets. I did like a Weston A. Price thing, the primal diet thing, and I did all kinds of stuff because I was working in the natural health industry and I was exposed to a lot of stuff. I did fasts, I did parasite cleanses, I worked really hard trying to get rid of my candida. I had that for 15 years. And in those 10 years, I tried raw like hundreds of times, but I could only stick to it for like 2 or 3 days and I'd fall off. But I was always doing a high fat version and I was scared of fruit because I was stuck in diet culture. Then come 2014, so over 10 years ago, I was having heart flutters, I had severe joint pain, I had severe cystic acne, I was overweight, I was lethargic all the time, I couldn't sleep, and I was just having a hard time. I had PCOS symptoms, IBS symptoms, pre-diabetic symptoms. I had all the symptoms and I was scared to go to the doctor because I knew they were going to diagnose me with something. So I decided to make a change, and I defaulted to raw because that's what always made the most sense to me. But I watched Cowspiracy, Earthlings, and Forks Over Knives in one day, and I was instantly vegan. And veganism, for those who don't know, is not a diet. Veganism is an ethical stand against animal use and exploitation and killing. So I'm against animal use. I don't use honey, I don't use wool, I don't use leather, I don't eat animals, I don't use animals. My skincare products are cruelty-free, not tested on animals, and have no insect ingredients or snail ingredients or anything in them. I make sure everything that I use is vegan because veganism is an ethical stand against animal exploitation. However, the food plays a big role in that. So I follow a vegan diet, which would be plant-based only, exclusively plant-based. And I don't use, like I said, I don't use honey or anything that comes from an animal in what I eat. So that going vegan in 2014 was a big motivator for me because I defaulted to raw. I thought most vegans ate mostly raw anyways. So I was like, well, let's go back raw. And in 2014 is when I eventually started trying a low-fat version of the raw diet. I would always do high-fat, and I was limiting fruit. But this time I stepped out of my comfort zone, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do low-fat, and I'm going to eat a lot of fruit and a lot of greens and a lot of vegetables, because I didn't do that in those past times. I was eating a lot of avocados and nuts and seeds and very little fruit, and my salads were super small. I was calorie restricting, and it just wasn't working back then. So now, come 2014, I go high carb, low fat, and I eat over 2,000 calories a day. And I quickly discovered that I needed to eat a lot to get enough calories in because I was using Chronometer to track my intake, and I was like, wow, I need to eat a lot on a raw diet, which is okay because I love to eat. So it was good. But to be consistent, so there's like two parts of the story. It took me a decade of dabbling in it. But then once I went raw, I never looked back. I went raw in 2014, and every single meal I've eaten raw since then. So yeah, I never relapsed after I went raw, but in those original 10 years, I did relapse quite a bit because I didn't know what I was doing on raw. I just ate raw food. I was not vegan, so I did have some raw animal products back then. But once I went vegan, that was it. I kept. So start small. Yes, start small with the foods. When you're trying to grow your gut, you want to start slowly with increasing that, and over time your gut will grow, but it's all about consistency. It's just like going to the gym. If you want to build your muscle, you got to go to the gym consistently, and you got to start with the smaller weights so you can build up to the bigger weights. Just like with your gut microbiome, you got to start with small amounts so you can increase and get more variety, more volume, and all of that in there. Cindy G says, staying away from tofu and soy, are those heavily included in the bundle? Again, as I mentioned, I think I answered this one before. Soy, there is soy in the cooked vegan things. For the raw stuff, you can use chickpea miso. That would be the only soy product that we use. So just use chickpea miso, and it's all soy free for all the raw stuff. So thank you, I ordered. Yes, yay, she ordered the bundle. The bundle, link in my bio here on Instagram. You can leave the live, go get the bundle. Before it's gone, you only have 4 days left to get it, or the link in the description box below if you are watching on YouTube. Can you recommend a good salad dressing? Okay, so I recommend getting the bundle because there's hundreds of recipes in there, both cooked and raw. Again, there's tons of raw recipes. Nate and I really like the French dressing, which is the one that kept me eating salads the first year that I was raw. I ate this dressing pretty much every day. So you're gonna wanna grab a pen and a paper. So I'll give you a second to get a pen and a paper. This dressing is my French dressing. I ate it every single day pretty much for lunch, and it kept me raw because I really enjoyed it. So again, I recommend trying different recipes out because not everyone's gonna like the same stuff. What I love you might be like, but then one that I'm like kind of like, you might love. So it's all about your preferences. So I really recommend getting the bundle, go through the ebooks and make a bunch of dressings. If you don't like one, don't make it again. Just, still eat it and enjoy the flavors or whatever for what they are, but try a different one. And over time, you'll find your favorites and then you'll be able to incorporate those into your menu. But it's all about practice. It's all about exploration. It's all about trying things and not worrying if you don't like it. That's fine. Try a new one the next day. Don't give up. Keep going because you're going to find your favorites. So my dressing, the French dressing is, ready? 5 dates. The juice of 1 lemon. It's about 2 tablespoons. 2 cloves of garlic, or 1 if you don't like it as garlicky. Half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. And 1/8 of a teaspoon of chipotle powder with about a cup of water. Blend that and you've got yourself a nice like vinaigrette. Oh, and 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Forgot to add that too. You can leave that out if you want. Lately, we've been adding a tablespoon of chia seeds to this recipe to boost our omega-3 intake, but you can leave it out if you want it, a no-fat dressing. And that's a dressing that we put on our fruiting vegetable salad. So lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, bell peppers, we put sprouts in there, fresh herbs, and it's an awesome dressing. We highly recommend it. You can play around with the spices too. Instead of smoked paprika and chipotle, you could use cumin and oregano, or you could use fenugreek leaves and curry powder if you wanted to have like a curry version. You can play around with different spices, but it's a date-based dressing. 5 dates, 1 lemon juiced, 2 cloves of garlic, half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of the chipotle powder with a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, blended with a cup of water, and you're good to go. So try that one out. And also, again, recommended you get the bundle because you're getting hundreds of dressings. We've got dressings and sauces in the burger book. We've got dressings and sauces in Tales from the Tailgate. There's over 100 recipes in there for salads that we've taken camping. So you can make some of the sauces from that. We've got Meal Plan Volume 3 you get to download in there, and there's tons of salad dressings in there, lots of different flavors. And there is also, the all-day meal prep class that we've included in the bundle. This teaches you how to make breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 2 people in under an hour for raw food. And I think there's a paprika dressing, which is very similar to the one I just gave you. And then there is another dressing, the harissa dressing in the afternoon. I believe it's that one. So yeah, there's lots of dressings, and there's other things from other people, like Chris Kendall has his raw stuff in there. There's some sauces like Korean barbecue sauces from Raw Chef Yin. Karen Ramsey has her raw food for anti-aging. She's got some dressings in her book as well. So go check out the bundle because that's going to be a treasure trove of content for you. Link in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. Super grateful to you. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Getting the bundle. How do you grow sunflower sprouts? Please. Okay, so sunflower sprouts, I recommend that you grow them in soil, so you can use coco coir for growing in soil. The best person to ask this is my husband, Nate, or you can go on YouTube, search for On The Grow. They teach how to grow microgreens as well. With the sunflower microgreens, you have to soak the seeds overnight, and then you plant them in the soil and germinate for a few days. And then once they're ready to go, you take the top off. And yeah, there's a little more detail to it. Nate is the one who does the sunflower microgreens. But again, check out On The Grow on YouTube. They have lots of videos. You can just type how to grow sunflower microgreens in YouTube and you'll find all kinds of stuff. And people have different techniques that work for them. You're going to want to try a few different techniques because, sometimes one doesn't work for another. It depends on the humidity level of where you live, depends on what kind of soil you're using, what kind of water you're using. All of that plays into effect as well. So check it out. Go to YouTube and look for some videos because there's lots of good stuff up there. I love raw veganism. It makes me feel alive. Thank you for being an inspiration. You're welcome. What brand freeze-dried natto is good to get? If you send me a DM here on Instagram, or if you're in the YouTube, if you want to know, just post in the comments, and I will share a link to the natto that we use. You can get it on Amazon. You can actually just type freeze-dried natto. There's a few brands on there. We're not brand loyal or specific to the natto. We just get whatever is available. I did 25 raw fruits and veggies. Good. That's awesome. Yeah, the people with the strongest gut microbiomes, according to recent research, the people who ate over 30 different varieties of plant foods in a week had some of the strongest microbiomes. So it's really important to eat variety. Cindy just bought the bundle, and you can too. Link is in my bio or in the description box below. You're gonna wanna go get it because it's loaded with so much stuff. If you want raw food, if you wanna watch some videos from plant-based doctors as well, there's so much content in there. Why is it better to chew lettuce, herbs, etc., rather than adding them into a smoothie? Both are good, but chewing always supersedes everything because when we chew, we release saliva, which has amylase enzyme in it. Amylase enzyme is our carbohydrate digesting enzyme. Digestion begins in the mouth. So even if you have a smoothie that you've blended, chew your smoothie, mix it with that saliva because that's going to start the digestive process. Chewing is the most important part of digestion. So make sure you slow down, chew your food, and enjoy it so that you can actually digest more from it and you expose more surface area so you get the most benefit from your food. All right, let's keep going here. We're on question 7 out of 55. I love this. I hope you guys are having fun. Is raw vegan diet safe for children, pregnant women, or athletes? Again, yes, it is safe. And you don't need to eat a fully raw diet to get benefits from raw food, obviously. You can do all raw if that's what resonates with you. You do get amazing benefits from eating all raw. But again, boils down to eat enough calories, eat enough variety. Don't do super restrictive things, just eat variety and eat abundance. Eat for your caloric needs. For athletes, you're gonna need more calories because you're expending more energy and you need more nutrition. So eat more calories. The more energy you expend, the more calories you need. Pregnant and breastfeeding women need more as well, especially if you're breastfeeding. You need about 500 extra calories every day, so you're gonna need to eat more. And if you need to add some steamed sweet potato, steaming and boiling are the safest forms of cooking if you are to cook something, because you're still losing nutrition in the cooking process, but you're not converting certain things into other things, like high heats. Cooking at high heats above 248 degrees Fahrenheit starts to change stuff. It fuses proteins together. It changes starches into acrylamide, which is carcinogen at like 350 or 450 Fahrenheit. So you want to avoid the hot temperatures, avoid frying, avoid barbecuing even can get really hot as well. So boiling and steaming are your best options if you need to get denser calories in. Default to that, but make sure the majority of your diet is raw and loaded again with variety and eating enough, because it is possible. We've got friends that have had raw pregnancies, raw births, raw children. We know people who are athletes on raw diets. It's totally possible. It just needs to be planned. Just like any healthy diet, you need to plan it and you need to make sure that you're getting your nutrition. So yes. Okay, next up we have, will I lose too much weight on a raw vegan diet? You can lose too much weight if you're not eating enough. Again, the number one reason why people struggle on a raw diet is because they are not eating enough calories and they're not eating enough variety. So definitely want to make sure that you eat enough, and that can help to maintain your weight if you're eating enough calories. And obviously you want to be active. So if you are active, you want to make sure you're eating enough calories to compensate for your activity level, or you can lose too much weight and you can get too skinny. So make sure that you eat enough. That's key. Is air frying bad? I personally would never air fry. I don't cook my food because I just don't want to have cooked food, but I personally think that air frying is in that questionable heat area. So I personally wouldn't. Do more research on it. John Kohler actually had a video which was very interesting It was about the toxin levels in vegans and raw vegans. It was an actual study that studied certain toxin levels in vegans, omnivores, and raw vegans. And the raw vegans had extremely low levels of these toxins that they were testing, but the vegans actually had more toxins than the omnivores because they were cooking their starches at high heats above 248 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you want to have your starches, if you need to have your sweet potatoes and your starches, boil or steam them. This is the safest way to consume those items. If you're heating them above, say, 350, 248 is actually, the standard temperature, but, it gets worse the higher you go. So 350 and 450 degrees Fahrenheit, that's when starches convert into acrylamide, which is a toxin. It's a carcinogen. So French fries are a no, even air fried. I wouldn't recommend cooking anything over 248 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you want to keep those toxins away, it's ideal not to use those. But again, don't take my word for it. Do some research. Check it out on your own. Watch that video from John Kohler because that was a very interesting video. He just released it maybe about a week ago on his OK Raw channel,okraw.com. And he shared that information about acrylamide and how raw vegans have basically hardly any acrylamide in their diet, in their bodies. So definitely check that out and see. Can you say who did that study again? I don't know who did the study, but John Kohler shared about the study on hisokraw.com YouTube channel. So I definitely would recommend checking that out. Cindy says, I'm very interested in the sleep section in the bundle. Sleep has never been a strong presence for me whatsoever. Yes, sleep is so important. I personally believe sleep is the axle that holds all the spokes of health together in the wheel of health. So if you think of the wheel of health and all the spokes are all the things like diet, exercise, hydration, passion, good relationships, manifestation, meditation, all of those things. We have to make sure that we do all of them. But sleep is the axle that holds them all together. Sleep is so important. So I'm glad that you're excited about the sleep stuff that is in the bundle. Again, link in my bio to go get the bundle. You're getting 83 downloads. 30% of them are raw focused, valued at $5,600, and you only pay $49 to get access to everything. You have a year to download it all, and then you get to enjoy it all from your device. So yeah, I hope that you can improve your sleep. Super important. Taking notes, got out my pen. Oh, I love it. Good. Yes. Get your pens out, write them down. These things, when you hear something, when you get that aha moment, implement it into your life. Because it's one thing to hear it, but it's another thing to do it. So I want you to do the things. I want you to go research. I want you to enjoy the raw food. I want you to add more. I want you to try it out for yourself and experience it. So next question number 9 out of 55. We've got 55 questions to go through. Number 9 is it expensive to eat raw vegan? It's expensive to eat in general. So it doesn't matter if you're raw, if you're omnivore, if you're vegan or whatever. It's going to be expensive depending on where you live and where you shop. If you are shopping exclusively at Whole Foods, then yes, it's going to be extremely expensive. If you are only buying organic food, yes, it's going to be expensive. Nate and I, we shop at Whole Foods every once in a while. There's like certain things that we like to get at Whole Foods, like heirloom tomatoes. They have like dandelion greens there. They have epic dill, and we like to add dill to our salads as well. So they have a lot of really cool things at Whole Foods. But every time we go, we spend a crazy amount of money on just a few things. So we shop at Winco. We don't buy all organic. I would say we're like 50-50 organic. We call ourselves accidental organics because if it's organic and it's on sale, we buy it. It's not like we're against organics. We just don't put pressure on ourselves to eat all organic. So definitely go check out the stores that you're shopping at. If you're trying to save money, again, we don't eat all organic. We do try. Costco has a lot of organics that we buy, and we also get a box delivered to our place every week that's kind of like a supplement to our shopping trips, and that box is all organic. So we get really cool things like watermelon radish and lion's mane mushrooms and epic kale, living lettuce, dandelion greens. We get some really cool stuff in that box. But again, that box is expensive too because it's all organic. So it really depends on where you're shopping, and seasonally as well. If you're buying stuff that's out of season, it's going to be expensive as well. So really, I mean, it can be expensive, but it can be, not as expensive as well. But all food is expensive now. So Dr. Chattel Coach says medications are expensive, and that's a good point too. It's expensive to be sick. So if we want to prevent needing to have unnecessary medications that we could avoid or prevent, then it's worth it to spend the money on our food, because eventually we might be spending that on medications. So will there be a replay? I love to watch later. Yes, Omar, there will be a replay of this on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in watching the replay, I will post this on YouTube, but it'll also stay on my Instagram. In the Reels tab, you can see all the lives that I've done. They all stay up on Instagram. After a live is done, it goes on Instagram, so you get to watch it after that as well, but it'll be on YouTube too. So if you wanted to go check it out on YouTube, you can. Again, go grab the bundle if you haven't yet. Link is in my bio here on Instagram. You can leave the live, go get the bundle, and come back because we're going to be here. We've got a lot of questions to go through. So go grab the bundle now. You can download it after the live, but get it now because you only have 4 days left to pay $49 to get access to $5,600 worth of vegan content, including 8 things from Nate and myself. We have the Align and Awaken Meditation Affirmation Challenge. We've got Nate's brand new smoothie ebook, and this smoothie is a strawberry shortcake smoothie that he made this morning from his ebook. Make It Raw Volume 3, Meal Plan Volume 3, Holiday Menu Volume 3, the Burger Book, Tales from the Tailgate, and access to watch our raw food prep class is available in the bundle as well. So you want to go get that. Question number 10, what happens if I don't feel good after switching to raw? This is an interesting question. So there could be so many reasons why you might not feel good on raw. And I think it greatly depends on your previous habits. What was your diet like before? What were you doing before? How are you doing a raw food diet? How have you done a raw food diet? What are your medical conditions or, symptoms and stuff like that? Most of the time, again, I will be a broken record about this forever and all eternity. The number one reason why people struggle on a raw diet or have issues is because they are not eating enough and they're not eating enough variety. So eat enough calories. Make sure that you're getting enough. If you're feeling tired, if you're feeling hungry, if you're getting cravings, you're not eating enough. Make sure that you eat enough. If you're losing your hair, if you're losing your period, if you are just not feeling good in general, maybe you need to eat more, because hair loss and period loss in women is typically due to undereating. So you're usually undereating, and it's very easy to undereat on a raw diet because we're not used to eating that big a volume of food, but you can get used to it. If you apply yourself and you practice, keep practicing every day. We have a school community on school.com, Raw Food Romance, and in the community we have a lovely, beautiful soul. Her name is Tessa, and she, over time being in the community, she gradually increased her salad volume, and now she feels awesome eating the bigger salads. But it takes time to gradually increase to get to that level, but it's totally worth it, because then you're going to be getting enough calories and enough nutrition, and hopefully you can feel better. And if you don't still, even after you've had more calories, you can always send me a DM. I'd love to hear more details about why you aren't feeling good on a raw diet, more details about what you're doing on a raw diet, to further inspect it a little bit. But usually it's because people just aren't eating enough, or they're too restrictive. They're not getting enough variety in there. They're not eating very many greens or vegetables, or they're not eating sprouts, or maybe not even eating fermented foods. If you get gassy and bloated, it might just be too fast for your gut at this time. So go slower, increase raw food slowly into your diet until you're at a level where you can increase more and enjoy more. So that can be helpful as well. Question 11, what do you eat in a day as a raw vegan? Great question. So every day is going to be different, obviously, because we're human beings and we don't eat the same thing every single day. But on average, this is what an ideal day would look like for Nate and I. We wake up in the morning, we have about 200 to 400 calories worth of fruit. That could be like 2 to 4 bananas, or, you know, a couple mangoes. Or, geez, you scared me. What did you say? A liter of water. Oh my gosh. Yes, start out with a liter of water and then have 200 to 400 calories of fruits or fruits in the morning. I'm all distracted now. Then we go for our workout or a walk or something like that. And then when we get back, we have, you know, a 500 to 700 calorie smoothie. If you really stuff it really big, you can make them pretty big. Have your smoothie in the morning, and then at lunchtime, we typically have like a wrap, or we make a fruiting vegetable salad with that dressing that I mentioned earlier, like a French dressing, something light, lots of hydration. We have lots of tomatoes and cucumbers, bell peppers. We put sprouts in there, lettuce. We like iceberg lettuce and romaine lettuce. So we do that for lunch. Then if we're hungry, we can snack on fruit, apples, grapes, whatever, but more bananas, whatever that is. And then dinner is typically either a raw creation of some kind, like we'll try someone's recipe from the bundle, link in bio or in the description box below. There's some really awesome, fun recipes that you can make from the bundle. Even Make It Raw Volume 3, we have the Swedish style meatballs, we have gnocchi, there's loads of salads, and you can make wraps and tacos and burgers from Tales from the Tailgate. The burger book is in there too, so you can make burgers and a side salad. There's so many options to make, or we just have a salad. Usually we just have a salad for dinner. We make a big giant salad. We like our tahini, lemon dill kind of a dressing on there, and we just enjoy that for our day. And we try our best. Obviously every day is going to be different, but that's usually what we would eat on an ideal day for that. So next up, question 12. Can you eat grains and beans on a raw diet? So there are some things that you can do for specific beans and grains on a raw diet. Number one, you sprout them. That's the way you do it. You either sprout them or you bloom things like black forbidden rice. Not all rice is going to do it. Make sure that you use the forbidden black rice. That's the best one that works the best. I'm going to sneeze again, I think. But anyways, bloom or sprout. So sprouting seeds, you do the 4 different categories. You've got your chickpeas. You can sprout chickpeas. You can sprout any kind of lentil. Black lentils, red lentils, green lentils, brown lentils, beluga lentils, all kinds of lentils. So you can sprout all the lentils. You can sprout mung beans, which are actually a really great protein source. So mung beans are a great one, and also any kind of pea. So green peas, speckled peas, English peas, black-eyed peas you can sprout as well. So those are the 4 categories: chickpeas, lentils, mung beans, and any peas. So definitely want to do that, because that actually increases your, let me just here. Yeah, there we go. So that is going to be your way of getting your legumes in, is to sprout them. I would avoid, and I want to say this clear as day, avoid red kidney beans. You do not want to sprout red kidney beans. They can make you sick, and red kidney beans can make you sick if you don't cook them right either. So it's just one that I don't even use. So there's plenty of other things that we can have on a raw diet that are really beneficial. Like lentils are one of the best things for that. So get those in there. Fresh fava beans you apparently don't even have to sprout, but cannot find them anywhere. We don't do fava. I've heard that you can, but again, this is kind of one of those ones that can make people sick if they eat too many of them, just due to certain things in them. If you wanted to, it would be better to lightly steam them if you wanted to have them. But I haven't had fava beans at all my entire time. I stick with the lentils, the chickpeas, the mung beans, and the peas, because those are all safe and you can eat a lot of them, no big deal. So there's that. For grains, there's the, again, black forbidden rice that you can bloom, which is basically just soaking for 72 hours to bloom it. And it just expands and makes it easier to digest. It's edible that way. And sprouted oats. You can do sprouted oats. You can actually also sprout barley. I'm going to have a really special recipe coming in May for Scotch broth soup, which has sprouted barley in it. So I'm going to be sharing that in May. It's a very special recipe that I'm creating to honor my Scottish heritage. So you can sprout unhulled barley. You can buy sprouted rolled oats from 1 degree. They steam roll them at 118 degrees Fahrenheit, so they're considered raw. We had a friend call the company and she discovered that they are actually raw. They don't put the raw on the label, which I think they should, because so many more people who are into raw would be open to buying it, but they are sprouted. So there would be it would be pointless to heat them if they're sprouted. So, you kind of get rid of the enzymatic activity. So Scotch broth, I love Scotch broth. Yeah, I'm making a raw version. So I hope you enjoy it. Again, that recipe will be coming in May later. Buckwheat. Yeah, buckwheat is another one. About 20% of people or so have a reaction to sprouted buckwheat. There's, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I think it's fagopyrin is the compound in sprouted buckwheat, which can irritate about, I'd say, 20% of the population. They just react to this in there and you get really itchy. And some people have different symptoms as well. So try the buckwheat, and if you don't react, then it's something that you can include. You can make sprouted buckwheat, dry it, and then grind it into a flour. And you can add that to certain things. Retail sprouted oats, good to eat as is. We like to add them to smoothies. Again, there's some added in this strawberry shortcake smoothie. If you want the recipe for that, get the bundle, because you get Nate's brand new smoothie ebook where he talks about smoothies, all about smoothies. It's like almost 350 pages all about smoothies and nutrition, and there's 45 recipes in there, including the strawberry shortcake recipe in there that uses sprouted oats. And yes, if you just soak them in cold water, you can have like a cold soak sprouted oat. Overnight oats you can do as well with that. So sprouted quinoa is quite nice too. I personally have never had good experience with sprouted quinoa. I've gotten sick from it before, but I do know that people like you have had good experiences. So yes, sprouted quinoa, you don't need to sprout it for long. And I think that might have been something that was an issue with me, was sprouting it a little too long, because it doesn't need a long time to sprout. But yeah, just be aware, some of them, just try it and see how you go in your body. Okay, next up. How do you replace bread, pasta, and rice with raw options? Great question. This is question number 13 out of 55. We've got a lot to go through today. So bread, Nate is actually working on a sprouted breads and spreads book for May. So there's some options. Actually, if you buy the bundle, link in my bio or in the description box below, there are 2 ebooks that have raw bread recipes in them that I know of. I'm sure there's others. I haven't dived deeper into them. Actually 3. Now that I think about it, there's 3 ebooks with a bread recipe in it. Number 1 is the burger book. You get to download that when you buy the bundle. Link in bio or in the description box below. The burger book has the rye bread bun for the burgers. It's an apple rye style. It doesn't have any rye in it, but I call it the rye bread because it's kind of got that like thick rye-iness to it. So you get that recipe in the burger book. Also, Daria Sinetra has her ebook in the bundle called Your Emotional Belly Cure, and she's got a raw bread recipe in there. And thirdly, Kate Duma from Raw Vegan Mama, she has her breads, spreads, and smiles ebook where she has some raw breads as well in there. Again, you get all 3 of those when you buy the bundle, so you have to go to the link in my bio. I don't mind if you leave the live to go do that. Go get the bundle. $49 gets you access to download all of this content. And once you download it, it's yours forever. So you only pay $49 and you get nearly $5,600 worth of content. So please go get it so you get all of these awesome, fun recipes. But also for bread, get the Tales from the Tailgate ebook that you get in there as well, because we make our wraps. Our wraps are dehydrated fruits and vegetables. When you follow the weights and you dehydrate that, you've got some bread wraps. Which are so delicious. They're super popular and they're great to take traveling, to work, to school, or just because they're super delicious. We got a comment here. Would love to buy a printed book rather than an e-copy. Do you have that available? So the bundle, you can't get printed because there's 83 different downloads, and a lot of those books have like 300 pages in them. So you wouldn't be able to get that for $49. The only reason we can do it for $49 is because it's all digital. You're getting $5,600 worth of content when you buy the bundle. Digital copies are nice because you can have it on your phone. You can take it with you to grocery shopping. You don't have to carry a book with you grocery shopping. You can be like, I wanted to make that burger, and it's in my phone, so you can get the recipe. But you can get print versions of some of our ebooks. We've got the hand salads ebook, the burger book, soup book, the meal plans. There are some that are in print on Amazon. You can search my author names, Melissa Raimondi or Melissa Maris, and you'll be able to find. You could even just search for Raw Food Romance. I think some of them come up as well. Or you can send me a direct message and ask for the link for the print versions, and I will send you a link to the Amazon store. Not all of our books are in print. Nate's smoothie book is not in print, so you have to get the bundle digital to get that. Just because they are so much more expensive, it's very, very, very expensive to print in full color and print on demand, self-publish. So it's very, very expensive. We pay a lot to get each copy done when you order it. So they are a lot more expensive. I only want to buy one book. Do you have recipe book for sale? Yes, I have ebooks in our website, payhip.com/rawfoodromance. If you want to buy the books individually, you can. Obviously, it's a much better deal to get the bundle because you can download whatever you want. You don't have to download everything in the bundle. You can just download what you want from it. It's still an amazing deal because you're paying a very, very small fraction of the price of everything in there. But we do have some books in digital, payhip.com/rawfoodromance, or on Amazon in print version. Just search for Raw Food Romance on Amazon. You should be able to find some of the books, but if you want a complete list of what we have printed on Amazon, send me a direct message and I'll be happy to get that link for you. Hard copy books are nice, but again, it's expensive and we can't have all of our books in print. So some of the ones that you might want might not be in print as well. So it just depends. We have about, I would say maybe 8, I think. I don't know exactly how many we have in print, but definitely the hand salads, the wrap book's in print, the burger book's in print, the soup book is in print, all the meal plans are in print. We have our food journaling for success book that's in print. Dips and dressings is in print as well. So again, check out on Amazon, search for Raw Food Romance, and you should be able to find some there. Or again, send me a DM. I'm happy to send you the link after this live. What are some good raw vegan snacks? Number 1 is fruit. Fruit is the best raw vegan snack. Cut up an apple, grab some grapes, have some bananas, some berries, whatever it is. Chop up a mango. Fruit is the ultimate raw vegan snack. Aside from that, there are some options like you can make kale chips. You can use any dressing from any of the ebooks in the bundle. The ones that have a little bit of fats in them, they work really well for kale chip dressing. Just coat the kale and dehydrate it until it's crispy and dry. You got some kale chips that you can take to the movie theater or camping or hiking or whatever. Freeze-dried food is also a really great fun snack. If you need something crunchy, get some freeze-dried fruit. That's awesome too. Just make sure that you drink enough water because freeze-dried food is void of water. So you're gonna wanna compensate for that by drinking more water. Other snacks, let's see. I like dehydrated, cauliflower that's been breaded and dehydrated. We want to make more of that. Nice cream is a good raw snack. Thank you. Yes, nice cream is an epic snack. Or smoothies. Smoothies are great snacks too if you want to make something quick. Nice cream is an excellent snack. I know Nate would agree with you heavily on that one. Yes. Okay, so next question, number 15. Is, do you feel like you spend all day food prepping and eating? That is why I recommend you get the bundle. Get the bundle, link in bio or in the description box below. We have an all-day raw food meal prep class. We make breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 2 people in an hour. We don't spend a lot of time making raw food unless we're making something elaborate. But that's the same with cooked food. If you're making something elaborate, this is gonna take time too. And it's interesting as well, we had Nate's sons over, they were making macaroni and cheese from a box, and we got our salads done with our dressings before their meal was done. So it can be really fast. It really depends on the amount of practice you have with doing it. Obviously, the first time you make raw food, it's going to be a little much because it's what you're not used to. But with cooking food, you still have to chop everything, but then you have to wait for the stove, you have to wait for the water to boil, you have to wait for the rice, which can take, however long to do. And then you have to wait for everything to be ready at the same time. And it's like a lot more work, personally, I think, to cook a big meal, especially with multiple dishes, than it is to make a giant salad and blend a dressing, because that really can only take like 15 minutes. If you get good at it, right? The more often you chop your salad, the better you get at it. The more often you blend your dressings, the more it just becomes, your habit, and it becomes easy. Plus, cleanup is so much faster. Cleanup is so much faster, especially when you're oil free. It's just rinse and dry. It's so easy. Please save this. Yes, this live will be on YouTube, so you can watch it. Nuts and dates and seeds for snacks. I personally don't snack on nuts or seeds because I try to stay on a low-fat diet, so adding more nuts and seeds as snacks can interfere with my insulin and my energy levels. So I don't do nuts and seeds as snacks. I keep those as ingredients for my salad dressings. Dates, however, that made me remember a great snack idea is celery with dates in it. And we did this as part of our catering. We catered raw vegan food, catered a yoga retreat last year. And for snacks, we had celery sticks. We put them in a bowl of ice water to keep them fresh. And we had those out all day with a box of dates. So people could take a celery stick and put dates in it and eat that. A low-fat version of a snack that gets a little bit salty, savory in there, and some sweet energy and carbs as well. So dates, yes, dates are good. But I personally wouldn't do snacks for nuts or seeds. I keep those to my dressings, my salad dressings. What blender do you use? We use a Vitamix. The model is 6300, but they don't make it anymore. The only Legacy series one that they make still is the 5200. I don't believe it's as powerful as the 6300, but they still make that one. You can probably find some good used Vitamix blenders as well. But we use a vacuum blender from BioChef. Again, BioChef isn't making them anymore. But we would recommend using a vacuum blender. So if you can get something like Blend Tide, New Wave, Void Systems, Dynapro, or Cravings, those are all some vacuum blenders that you can look into. When our Vitamix dies, we are going to be buying a vacuum blender, like specifically for vacuum blending, not just the attachment. We're going to buy like an actual vacuum blender because we believe vacuum blending is the best way to blend. It prevents excessive oxidation of your food that you're blending. Food lasts longer, like your dressings last longer, everything tastes better, the texture is better. You get less gas and bloating because you have less air that's blended into your dressing or your smoothie. So it really helps your digestion as well. So vacuum blending is the way to go. If you're gonna do it right, get a vacuum blender. Okay, next up. Again, go get the bundle. Link is in my bio or in the description box below to get all the goodies. There's so many awesome, delicious things in the bundle. 30% of the bundle is raw focused. You're getting nearly $5,600 worth of content for $49. You get to download 8 things from Nate and I. We've got the brand new Align and Awaken Affirmation Meditation Challenge in there. 30 days of videos. They're like 25 to 35 minutes long, and I did the recording, so it's my voice. You get affirmations in there, breath work, lots of information. It's a really in-depth course. You get that, Nate's brand new smoothie book, the burger book, Tales from the Tailgate, Meal Plan 3, Make It Raw 3, Holiday Menu 3, and you get access to watch our class that we did on how we meal prep for 2 people on a raw diet. We make breakfast, lunch, and dinner in an hour. So if you want to know how we do that, get the bundle, and you get access to download all of that content. So it's all yours. You get all of it. Do you eat legumes or beans? Again, this is another question. Yes, we do, but we do those 4. We do the chickpeas, mung beans, lentils, or peas. Those are the ones that we do, and we sprout them. We have some cool sprouting kits that we are going to do an unboxing of later. Not today, but we're gonna open some sprouting kits from the Sprouting Company. They are amazing sprouting jars, so we want to share those, and that's coming soon. Maybe after the bundle we'll do that. Can you eat frozen fruits and vegetables? Does that count as cooked? This is a good question. Okay, so if you buy frozen fruits and vegetables from the store, they are most likely blanched or pasteurized. And the reason they do that is for safety purposes. Because if you freeze stuff fresh that may have been contaminated with bacteria, once it thaws, that bacteria can grow during the thawing process. So just for safety purposes, stores mandate that most frozen stuff is pasteurized or blanched, which is heated, heat dipped, to kill the bacteria. That's what they want. That's the goal, is to kill the bacteria to make it safe for you. However, for raw foodies, that is considered cooked, but you can freeze your own stuff, right? We buy fresh peas shelled in the bag and we just freeze those. We freeze our own berries. We do buy some frozen fruit from Costco. We do sometimes, like when they have the purple cauliflower at Costco, we'll buy those. Maybe that was blanched, but it's so slight, we don't consider it, evil, I guess, so to speak. So if it's going to get you to eat more plants, then do it. I would rather you have some frozen vegetables from Costco that aren't raw than eat some kind of a processed thing because you don't want to have it or whatever. So definitely do what works best for you. Don't be so rigid in the rules because it's about eating more plants and more raw as to the best of your ability. So yes, freezing and thawing is considered a raw vegan culinary technique. We learned that technique from Chris Kendall, and Dr. Rick Dina calls it kendalizing, which is freezing and thawing. So he's like, we kendalized the sprouted chickpeas, right? You can freeze and thaw harder vegetables and beans that you like, the chickpeas or the lentils. You can freeze them, and when you thaw them, carrots and onions and celery as well, when you thaw them, they soften. Rutabaga, turnip, and other harder vegetables too. Once you thaw them, they're softer. So they're more like a steamed al dente kind of a texture. So you can add those to raw soups and stews. And speaking of stews, you're gonna wanna get the bundle. The link is in the bio or in the description box below, because you get to download not only everything from us, but you get to download Chris Kendall's stews ebook. So if you want to make some raw vegan stews using the kendalizing effect of freeze thaw with some of the things that he has in there, get the bundle, download that ebook and start making some raw stews. His Ethiopian lentil wat stew is one of my favorites. It's so delicious. I highly recommend it. So definitely go get the bundle so you can get access to that as well. Comment in the chat, do you eat mostly organic? We eat whatever we can that's organic, but we don't stress out about eating only organic. So if it's organic, then, yay! But we don't stress out about it, and we don't buy exclusively 100% organic. We do buy many organic things. Costco has a lot of, we call ourselves accidental organics. Like if it's organic, yay! If not, no big deal. We still eat conventional stuff as well. It saves a lot of money, that's for sure. And we can get more calories in without breaking the bank. I'd rather eat more calories with a lot of it coming from conventional than to eat a small amount of calories and struggle with variety and my budget by eating only organic. So again, it's up to you. If you want to eat all organic and you have the means to do so, by all means do it if you want to. Totally fine. But it's also okay to have conventional foods as well. Remember that organic foods are also sprayed, but just with approved sprays. Some of those sprays can actually be more harsh on the environment. Even though they're okay for us, they are actually maybe less beneficial for the environment. So keep that in mind. All organic cherries, for example, are all sprayed at the end of the season for harvest, because if they didn't, there wouldn't be a such thing as organic cherries, because the worms get to them regardless. And organic cherries have more worms because they're more organic, so they do have to spray those. So they do spray organic foods just with approved sprays, different sprays than conventional. The best is obviously to grow your own food. If you want to make sure that there's nothing in there at all, that's always best. Next question 18. What are some quick raw meals for busy days? I would definitely recommend the wraps. 100% the wraps are probably the easiest thing for busy days. You just have to make sure that you prep them the night before, but you can make a lot of them in advance and store them, in between the parchment paper in an unsealed Ziploc bag in your cupboard. And as long as they don't touch too much moisture, you can have those and just roll them up with, you could put avocado or cashew cheese on the bottom. You got lettuce, cabbage, carrot, tomato, pickle, whatever, and you can wrap that up and eat that for lunch. Super fast, really delicious. That would probably be the best, fastest meal aside from smoothies. Smoothies are obviously a super fast option for quick meals on busy days, and that's what Nate and I do often if we have a long day with lots of lives or we're busy working on certain things. Sometimes it's just a smoothie for lunch. And if you want smoothie recipes, if you want to learn how to make awesome smoothies, get the bundle because you get many smoothie ebooks in there. Nate's brand new smoothies book is in the bundle. You get to download that when you buy the bundle. You also get Dr. Rick and Karen Dina's Powerhouse Smoothies ebook as well. So get the bundle so you can get that. And you get to download my Meal Plan Volume 3, which has 30 smoothies in it. I think 30. I think there might be like 2 recipes in there that are just fruit bowls, but most of them are smoothie recipes. So if you want more smoothie recipes to make quick, easy meals, get the bundle because there's lots of content in there. And I think other people have a lot of smoothies in their ebooks as well. Simply Shauna says, farmers markets are good places to buy food too. Yes, they are. Definitely. I find farmers markets to be a little on the expensive side. Like a head of lettuce can be like $4, whereas conventional can be like $1.50. So it really depends. And I would recommend if you do go to farmers markets, go at the end of the day, maybe like an hour before close, because sometimes you can barter with the produce guys, and sometimes they will give you a discount on whatever they have left. So it's a good idea if you're trying to save money and you still want organic from the farmer's market, go at the end of the day when they're packing up, and you can sometimes get some stuff for a little bit of a discount as well. So next up, how do you meal prep as a raw vegan? This is a good question. Again, buy the bundle because you get our meal prep class where we show you how we make breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 2 people in an hour. So this is our meal prep. We like to do it all in an hour, then we don't have to worry about making lunch or dinner because it's already made. Make it first thing in the morning when you have more energy, when you have more motivation, and then you get excited about those meals throughout the day, because when we do it that way, we're like, oh, I can't wait for lunch. We got this awesome dressing for lunch, or oh, I can't wait for dinner. I can't, like it's ready to go, and we just have to put it in a bowl and put the dressing on and we're good to go. But other forms of food prep, yes, we do food prep. Food prep is really important on a raw diet. It looks different than cooked food because, we're not freezing a pre-made meal or anything like that. What we do for food prep is we plan in advance. So our food prep involves planning. We decide what we want to have, and then food prep would look something like blooming our rice in advance, soaking our chickpeas and freezing them, chopping veggies and freezing them for the stews from Chris Kendall that you can get in the bundle, or making the wraps, for example. Make the wraps in advance. We've got that food prep done. Making cold soaks for our camping trips. We do that with freeze-dried food. Other food prep could be dehydrating stuff for food storage, or what else do we do? Making taco meat, taco grounds, or burger patties. Again, you get the burger book when you buy the bundle. $49 gets you all of that. You get the burger book, so you can make burger patties in advance for the next couple days or whatever. You can put them in salads, you can put them in wraps, you can make burgers with them, whatever, because it's just ground up dehydrated veggies. So there's that option as well. Those would be probably some of the top off my head food prep things, but I definitely recommend getting the bundle because then you get access to watch that video class that we have on how we food prep for the day. It's smoothies, salads for 2 for lunch and dinner as well. So next question number 20. How do you store fresh produce to keep it from spoiling quickly? Good question. Going to the supermarket and taking note as to how they store the produce in the grocery store is going to give you a really good guide as to how to store it at home. So when you go to the grocery store and you see, the tables where they have the fruits on, like apples, bananas, avocados, tomatoes, sometimes cucumbers, onions, for example, the sweet potatoes, all of those are on the tables. That means if they're on the tables in the grocery store, you can keep them on your counter at home. And that's most fruit. The only fruit that I would keep in the fridge would be grapes and berries. And you don't want to wash those until you're ready to eat them. Don't wash them in advance because then they just get mushy really fast. So don't do them in advance unless you're traveling or whatever and you need something quick. Obviously you want to wash them beforehand, but you've got like a day or two, max after you wash them. So don't wash them until you're ready to use them. Keep those two in the fridge. And then when you're in the grocery store, notice that all the vegetables and the fruits that are in the coolers or the misting coolers, those all need to be in the fridge. So that's how you can kind of get a good idea. You know, some stores have, you know, different rules or whatever, but that's a general rule. If it's in the cooler in the fridge, or if it's in the cooler in the store, keep it in your fridge. If it's on the counter in the store, keep it on your counter at home. So that's going to be the best way to store some of that. If you have extra of something, you can either dehydrate it, like extra herbs. You can dehydrate those into dried herbs that you can use later in dressings. You can dehydrate extra microgreens. If you're not able to eat the whole tray right away, you can cut those up, harvest them, and dry them out. And then you have a microgreen powder that you can add to your dressings and stuff. Freezing things, if you're not ready to eat them just yet, you can freeze ingredients so that you can use those future, like for raw soups or stews or anything like that. Fruit for smoothies, you can actually also buy stuff that's in season, or if you go to like a you pick farm and you pick your own berries or fruit or whatever, and you pick a huge amount, or you have a neighbor that gave you like tons of apples or lots of mangoes from their mango tree or whatever it is, you can take those, chop them up, and freeze them so you have access to that later on. That's a really great food prep tip as well. And finally, we like to store things in the Debbie Meyer's green bags and boxes. That helps to extend the life of the food as well. And you can store things under vacuum too. Put them in a jar with a vacuum seal lid and vacuum seal them to prevent the oxidation from happening as well. Nuts and seeds should be stored in the fridge or freezer to keep them fresh as well, especially under vacuum is helpful as well. Question number 22, how do you eat raw when traveling or eating at restaurants? How do we do raw traveling? Well, you're gonna wanna go buy the bundle. Link is in the bio on my Instagram or in the description box below, because you get to download our Tales from the Tailgate ebook. This is a nearly 300-page ebook talking about how we travel as raw vegans. So if you want more details, get the bundle to get that. But what we do in a nutshell is we plan in advance, we prep whatever we need to take with us, and we take the food with us. We take whatever we need. We'll stop at grocery stores on the way or when we get to our location. Grocery stores are your best friend as a raw vegan, so just go to the grocery store, get what you need. We always make sure that our Airbnb or our hotel or whatever has a cooler or a fridge that we can put some of our stuff in. And again, a lot of it just lives on the counter, so we don't need like a super huge amount of fridge space. But you know, for our greens and vegetables and stuff like that, you can take sprouts with you and sprout them while you're traveling as well. Just soak and rinse and drain. Take your sprouting jar with you if you can. And at restaurants, call ahead. We don't eat out at a lot of restaurants in general, just because they're like so high oil, lots of salt, just, you know, not really interested. We prefer to make our food at home, but you can call the restaurant in advance and see if they can do something for you. Go to a raw restaurant, go to a vegan restaurant. Vegan restaurants tend to be able to make some raw stuff as well. Not all of them are able to, but you can bring your own dressing and just order like a big salad without a dressing and put your own dressing on it. So yeah, you can do that as well. Next question is, what do you do when people judge or question your diet? This is a good one. It's hard. It's hard to deal with people who are questioning what you're doing, even though this is what you want to be doing. Recognizing that your choices are a mirror to them, and your choice reflects their choice back onto them, and they can feel uncomfortable. If they see you eating a salad and they're eating chicken wings, obviously, you know, it's gonna like stir some stuff up within them, and they're going to default to one of 4 different types of people. Number 1 is the inquirer, which is, you know, the nice one that we like to talk to because they're genuinely interested, they want to know more, and you know, they're nice and pleasant to talk to. But the other 3 are the ones that are, this is their coping mechanism to what you're choosing, and it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with their choices that they're making for their life and their fears around change, around losing you, around feeling neglected or abandoned or rejected. They have defense mechanisms. Number 1, they will either become a bully and they will make fun of you or make you feel guilty or whatever they're going to do. They're going to bully you for your choices as a defense mechanism against their subconscious discomfort. There's also the debater who's going to debate everything that you say. Even if they agree, they're going to take the opposite stance, and it's going to be really frustrating. But that's their way of coping with the discomfort. They're going to be like, but what about this? And what about this? And what about this? Right? Try to, get you riled up. And then there's also the joker who's going to make jokes about everything that you're doing. And that's uncomfortable too. But again, those are all defense mechanisms that these people are expressing to deal with the discomfort of their own choices. Usually if they're comfortable in their own choices, they're not going to say anything. They're just going to go about their day. But if they're going to react to your salad, then you know that there's some kind of a subconscious discomfort within them. I recommend changing the subject immediately. Like if they say like, why are you eating a salad? Be like, oh, I'm just trying to eat healthier. I heard you got a new job. How's it going? Or whatever. Like change the subject so that they can talk about themselves. And it really diffuses the situation. And also not saying stuff like, I'm a raw vegan or whatever. That can really like stir some stuff up with people. Just tell them that you're trying to eat healthier. And we all know that we should be eating healthier. So it's a nice way to, lessen that as well. We've got some comments here. The Tales from the Tailgate is such an awesome book. Love, love, love this book. Thank you, Cindy. I'm glad that you love it. Again, you get access when you buy the bundle. Only $49 gets you 83 downloads, including the Tales from the Tailgate ebook, the burger book, our class on raw food prep. We've got Meal Plan 3, Make It Raw 3, Holiday Menu 3, and Nate's brand new smoothie book, you get that too. And the Awaken, Align and Awaken Meditation Challenge, that's yours as well. So you just pay $49 and you get to download all the goodies. So go get that, link in my bio. You can leave the live, go get the bundle, and then come back. I'll still be here. People are always going to question. Take this opportunity to educate them. Yes, you can definitely. Some people don't want to be educated, so just read the room and see how they are. Most of the time, I just say I'm trying to eat healthier. And if they ask questions, obviously, I'm very happy to help answer those. We forgot the fifth, the indifferent person, doesn't care, doesn't inquire. And those ones they exist too. But like those are the ones that they're easy to deal with because they don't say anything. They're indifferent. They don't care. But these are the three that are the more challenging ones. These are the ones that this question was addressing, is more like, how do you deal with the bullies and the debaters and the questioners and the jokers and all of that? Because they're feeling that fear of your rejection, or you're changing and they don't want you to change, because that means that they might have to change. They don't want to be rejected. No one likes to feel rejected. And if they offer you a cheeseburger and you're like, no, I'm good, or whatever, they feel rejected. Give them love, because that's really what they are needing in this stance. So yeah, it's not my discomfort. I'm simply trying to learn, such as when you said you eat lots of fruit and bananas at once, that's a ton of sugar. Your choice, but not for me. This is a great question, and I think this is part of the questions in there somewhere. Isn't fruit a lot of sugar? So when you are eating whole foods, actual whole real foods, the sugar in fruit is totally fine. It's not bad. What the problem is our fat intake. We're eating way too many fats, and this is causing insulin resistance. When you eat a lot of fats, you are forced to not eat a lot of fruit, because any fruit that you eat, you're gonna have issues with because of the fat. It's not the fruit that's the problem. It's the amount of fat that you have in your diet that is preventing insulin from getting sugar into your cells so that you use for energy. Because sugar is our number one energy source. It's what we run on. It's what our brains run on. And yes, we can convert muscle mass and fat into energy. It's a lot more work for our body to do that. It prefers glucose, but in order to eat more sugar, you have to eat lower fat, which is more ideal for the human body. Your insulin gets more sensitive. People reverse diabetes. We actually have somebody in our raw vegan community who is in their 70s, diabetic. They started eating lots of fruit, lots of bananas and dates and salads and all that stuff. His A1C level is now 5.5. He is now in the normal range for his blood sugar levels because of the raw food, and he's eating a very, very low-fat diet, so his insulin actually functions properly. So again, it's not the sugar's fault, it is the fat. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
Oh, it's just this reel.
Oh, he's laughing at a reel. Ah, so funny. Okay, so next up, love your breakdown of the ways people react. That's so informative. I'm glad you liked that. Yeah, it's really interesting to see how different people react to your choices when it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them and their insecurities and what they think they should be doing. Maybe they want to eat healthier, but you know, they're having a pizza and you're having a salad and they're like, but a lot of it is subconscious. A lot of the times they're not aware of it. So then they just react as a natural defense mechanism to your choices. We love your wrap book and burger book. Love them so much, so helpful. Thank you so much. Again, you can get the burger book in the bundle. Link is in the bio. Only $49 gets you that ebook, and 83 other downloads are in there. You also get wrap recipes in the Tales from the Tailgate ebook. So if you're looking for the wraps, there are some in the bundle as well. So there's that. Thank you everybody for asking the questions and hanging out with me today. This is really awesome. And thank you to everybody who has purchased the bundle, the vegan health bundle, link in my bio or in the description box below. A little small portion of all the sales goes towards Chef AJ as well. So if you want to support her, that's a great way to do so. But more importantly, it's a great way to support yourself. I wish I had something like this when I first started Raw, because I would have saved a lot of time. Going through all the content that is in here would have saved a lot of time. And I would have had way more awesome, fun things to eat. So I definitely recommend you grab that. Question number 24, how do you handle family gatherings and social events? This is a good question along with the last one. What I like to do is I still go. I highly recommend that people go to the family events regardless if they are having challenges with the food or not, because the reason is that number one, you need to be connected with the people you love, for sure. Number two, we get good at our habits when we practice them in challenging times. So if you want to get good at choosing raw food at a family gathering, then you have to go to the family gathering and choose raw food. The more often you do that, the easier it gets. What we like to do, we like to just bring our food. We'll bring our food to the potlucks. We bring our food to the restaurants. We bring our food wherever. We bring food for extra for everybody because everyone always loves to eat our stuff too. We went to I think it was a football party or something in Oregon. This was years and years ago, and we brought a huge casserole full of raw vegan sushi, and this was a sushi made with cauliflower rice, and we made so much. We're like, oh, that'll be enough for us, and we had a couple bites, and then we went and hung out with some people or whatever. We came back, and they were all gone, and we're like, oh. So we learned that you have to take enough for yourself and an extra bunch for the people, because they're gonna eat your portion because they loved it and they're like, this is better than regular sushi. So it was really fun to take that, and people are genuinely interested for the most part. So if you take stuff, they're gonna want to try as well, and if not, more for you, right? You got extra to take home with you and enjoy. But I always would take big salads to like my family gatherings, and I would just eat those with everybody else, and people would be like, what are you eating or whatever, and sometimes people would be nice and ask, and sometimes they'd make fun of or whatever, but I just was like, this is what I want to do for my life. I'm not going to give in to the other things, because I already did for 34 years of my life, and I was not enjoying my life. I was not enjoying my health, so I needed to make a change. So you just got to stand strong and keep practicing. Go to the social events and challenge yourself. Be like, what can I make raw? And get excited about it, because the excitement, the emotion can help you to stay motivated and do the things as well. Always love that what do your eat look? I'm not sure your comment here. I probably do it unconsciously when they talk or eat their processed food. So I didn't really get that question, but thank you for sharing. Next up, we have question number 25. Is it possible to be a raw vegan without a dehydrator or fancy equipment? Great question. Yes, you can be a raw foodie without a dehydrator. A blender, I would say, is kind of necessary to make smoothies and to blend dressings, but you can still do raw food without a blender as well. You can mash like avocados and add some other things in there to make a dressing that way. You can make other dressings too. that do not require a blender, but I would definitely say if there's only one tool for a raw foodie diet, it would be a blender for sure. Because again, Nate says knife and a cutting board as well. Yes, definitely need a knife and a cutting board to do a raw diet. But yeah, blender for sure, but you don't need a dehydrator to be a raw vegan. A dehydrator, however, is very fun as a raw vegan, and it opens the doors to endless possibilities of fun things that you can make. If you buy the bundle, link is in my bio here on Instagram or in the description box below, you get to download my meal plan volume 3. This is a great meal plan for beginners because you do not need a dehydrator for any of the recipes. You just need a blender, a knife, a cutting board, and maybe a spiralizer that can spiralize vegetables like cucumbers or zucchinis or what have you to get that texture. But other than that, I think that's pretty much all you need. Maybe a lemon juicer or like just a lemon reamer by hand or what have you. Most people have one of those though. But yes, you can do it without a dehydrator. A blender, however, it might be a little more challenging, but you can definitely do it without a blender too. So if we're trying to keep our fat intake low, do we need to limit our avocado intake? Yes, avocado is a fat source. So if you're gonna do avocado, I would not do the nuts or seeds, for example. So if you're gonna make like an avocado-based dressing, don't include nuts and seeds with it. Just have your fat source be the avocado itself instead of combining them with extra fat. So if you're trying to keep your fat intake low, either choose nuts and seeds or avocado in your salad and keep it to 10%. So that would look like half of a small avocado or a quarter of a big avocado. That's about how much you need for your fats. And you don't need a lot of fats to get the benefit from them. Make sure that you also include chia or flax seeds in your day every day to make sure that you're getting adequate amounts of omega-3, because there isn't very much omega-3 in avocados, and there isn't very much omega-3 in a lot of the other stuff too, like cashews and almonds and stuff. They're pretty high in omega-6s, so you want to make sure that you have chia or flax in there just to keep your omega-3 intake balanced. I wear almost the same jacket as you in white. Aw, thank you. I love this sweater. It's a nice little one. The cauliflower rice in your sushi frozen and then thawed? No. I use fresh cauliflower, blend it, a wet chop, and then I squeeze out any of the excess water from that. First I use a metal strainer to strain out any of the water, and then I squeeze all of the, like you're making a snowball, right? You squeeze out as much water as possible and then you use that for your sushi. It's a much better way of making raw sushi, much better than the food processor, because the food processor, that cauliflower rice is a little bit too chunky and not sticky enough. So I like the wet chop version much better. What are your thoughts on green juice high in veggies daily? I think greens are essential on a raw diet. I think adding more greens in any way that you can is ideal. So I'm pro adding more greens in any form into your diet somewhere, and still keeping a high fiber whole food diet as well. Super important. 26, question number 26. Again, go grab the bundle if you haven't yet. I don't mind if you leave the live to go get the bundle. I'll still be here. We've got lots of questions left to go through. What are the biggest benefits you've noticed since going raw? I went raw over a decade ago. I lost a bunch of weight. My cystic acne cleared up, which was probably my favorite thing that changed as a raw vegan. My energy level went up greatly. My mood balanced, my hormones balanced. I finally got my period regular after 20 years of having it. It was always super irregular and extremely painful. Now they're a lot easier and they come monthly. Obviously I'm in perimenopause right now, and the only symptom that I'm noticing is my periods are less off, or they're less days. Like I guess I should reword that. Normally my cycle is 28 to 30 days every month, and that stabilized when I went raw. But now in perimenopause, I'm noticing they're anywhere between 26 to 28 days. So they're getting shorter, I guess. The days in between my bleeds are getting shorter. That's what I've noticed over the last, I'd say year or so, that they've just gotten shorter. Like my last one was, I think, 24 days. So they are getting shorter in between, but that's about it. And then, yeah, I just have more energy. My candida went away. Oh my gosh. That was another big favorite thing, is that my gut health improved dramatically as a raw vegan. And my candida finally went away on its own when I started to feed my microbiome and heal my body with whole foods. And it just went away on its own. So it was really great. What is wet chop, please? Okay, so wet chop, you fill your blender halfway with water, and you put about 500 grams, which is about half a head of cauliflower, or a small head of cauliflower, give or take roughly. 500 grams of cauliflower whole chopped into the water. Then you blend it with the water. So you blend the cauliflower with the water for 3 seconds. If you go longer than 3 seconds, it gets too mushy. 3 seconds is the magic number. So just turn it on, go 1, 2, 3, you're done. That's it. You don't have to do it longer than that. Then you take that watery cauliflower mix and you pour it through a metal strainer, a fine meshed metal strainer, and then scrape it around, like stir it around to let all the water release. And once it gets, kind of dry, then you're going to want to take it's about, I would say, like a 1/4 cup handful, and then you squeeze all the water out. I do it a couple times, like I'll move it around and I'll squeeze out as much water as I possibly can. And then that is what I use for my sushi rice. It sticks a lot better. It doesn't poke through the nori sheets as much. And I also use 2 nori sheets for my sushi, which holds them together a lot better as well. So I'm gonna be making a video for my sushi book that's coming in May, so you'll be able to watch that in more detail as well. I love your recipes. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you do. If you want to get more of our recipes, get the bundle. Link is in my bio or in the description box below. What's funny is how people that try veganism and get sicker. I wouldn't say it's funny. I think that people who try veganism and get sicker have some work to do on what they're eating, because I know so many vibrant, healthy, strong, fit, excellent vegans. And I've been vegan for over 10 years now. I'm 45. I'm loving life. I'm loving this diet, and I'm doing it appropriately. It needs to be planned, just like any diet. Doesn't matter if you're vegan or not. You have to plan and make sure that you get adequate nutrition. You have to make sure that you eat enough calories. That's the number one problem that people have. They're just not eating enough, or they're doing too many extreme things. They're depriving their body. They're running into deficiencies. So it's not veganism that's the problem. It's how people do a vegan diet that needs addressing and needs planning. And, everybody's going to be a little bit different with where their gut is. So they have to work on that. Diane says, I love being vegan. I know, it's amazing. I love it. I love just the freedom that comes from knowing that I'm not contributing to the animal exploitation. I don't want to be part of that. One thing that really solidified my choice in 2014 was I watched that show, or that clip on YouTube called Dairy is Scary. And I was like, I can't believe that as a woman, I was exploiting the females from another species by eating eggs and milk. And I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I don't want to be part of this. I'm not going to buy it anymore. So ethically, that's why I choose vegan, is for the animals. I don't want to be part of that. There's plenty of things to eat as a vegan. You can get your choline as a vegan. You don't need eggs. Just need to eat more variety. Get more choline-rich foods, like cauliflower is very high in choline. Just add that. Cruciferous vegetables are great too. So we don't need milk and eggs. I don't believe that too. Sorry about all the questions, but do you add any seasoning to your cauliflower rice for sushi? You can, definitely. Some of the recipes that I have, you add like a chunk of ginger, and you can wet chop that with the cauliflower. You could put garlic in there as well. You can definitely add seasonings. I have another one. It's kind of like a spicy one. I added chili powder to the rice. Like after I squeeze off all the water, I put it in a different bowl and I add spices. Like you can add like chili powder or ginger powder or whatever else you want to add to it. You could even add a little bit of date sugar, which is just dried dates ground into a powder. So it's a whole food raw source of, sweetener. If you want to use date powder, just put a little date powder in there, some ginger, and mix that up. And then you have a little bit of spices in your cauliflower rice. So we're gonna have some of those. options in the sushi book that's coming in May as well. So you're going to want to wait for that. It's going to be good. But right now, you want to get the bundle. The bundle link is in my bio or in the description box below. So you can download 83 pieces of vegan content. You can explore veganism. Even if you're not raw or vegan, you can benefit from this bundle. Make some stuff for your family. Start adding more plants to your diet. And if you're raw, 30% of this bundle is raw focused. So you're getting a lot of content there as well. So it's super awesome. Question number 27. Diane says, can't wait for that sushi book. I know, it's going to be so good. We've been loving the sushi and they're so colorful and they're so much fun to make. I love getting creative with my food and I love making art with it. So it's been super fun for me to make that book. I can't wait for you to try it. Question 27. Do you ever see yourself going back to cooked foods? I personally don't. I don't care for it. It's not something that I even think about. So I don't see myself going back. I prefer raw. I want raw. That's what I love. That's what I default to. And I just see myself doing that. So simple answer to that question. I don't see it. I'm not saying that cooked food is evil, obviously. Again, steaming and boiling are going to be your best options if you're going to add cooked food to your raw diet. Steaming and boiling are the safest. There is still nutrient loss with them and you are inactivating some enzymes, but it's a better alternative if you're looking for having a little cooked food in there too. So those are options too. Question 28. Why do you eat raw? Do I have to be all raw? So I choose raw food, again, tied into the last question, because I want it. I don't choose it because I think cooked food is poison or toxic or anything like that. I choose raw because I want raw. And when people say well, Lisa, you should be able to eat whatever you want. I'm like, but I want raw. So I'm eating what I want. And that makes me feel the best. And I love it. I default to it. And it's brought me here. Raw food has brought me to where I am today in my life, not just my health, but my life in general. Living here in Las Vegas, married to Nate, all of that came because I chose to change my lifestyle and to do raw food. So I'm grateful for raw food, not just for my health, but for my life in general. It helps me to, do my mission, which is to help you as well. And you don't have to be all raw if you don't want to be. Do as much raw as you comfortably can with what works for you, your finances, your availability, and all that stuff. Do as much raw as you can, and over time maybe you try some all raw days and you like it and you want to be all raw. It's all good because it's about eating more plants and not eating the animals, raw or cooked, whatever you want to do. Okay, next question here. We've got, how do you feel about eating a fruit-only diet? Fruitarians believe that is the only food that we need or are meant to eat. So I think fruit is amazing. I think fruit is awesome, but I don't think fruit is the only food that we should be eating. I believe that we should be eating greens and sprouts and herbs and vegetables. We should be eating a wide variety. And I don't put fruit on a pedestal. All raw plant foods are all together in a big basket of all the options that I like to have. I don't put value on one over the other. And I started diving deep into the gut microbiome health in about 2021, where I was learning more about how important it is to have a lot of variety and to have those other fibers in our diet to grow our microbiome and to not be so restrictive. I don't want to be so restrictive. I love fruit. Don't get me wrong. I think fruit is amazing, and fruit is the bulk of a lot of our calories in our diet. But again, I think that we're missing out on a lot of things by not having the greens. The cruciferous vegetables are powerhouses, and they have everything we need to support phase 2 liver detox. So if we want to detox, get those greens in, get the cruciferous in there. Super important. I believe in a balanced diet here. What else we have? My son just bought me some Sumos. Oh, Sumos are so good. The Sumo oranges. I love those ones. They're so delicious. How about mushrooms? We do raw mushrooms. We like to marinate and dehydrate them. Dr. Greger did a video on mushrooms and agaritine, which is the thing that people are scared of. But they did studies showing that it doesn't affect humans. the same way that affects rats. We're not rats. So they were feeding mushrooms to rats, and they were feeding so many to the rats. We would never eat that many raw mushrooms in a day ever. So I'm not worried about raw mushrooms at all, but we marinate and dehydrate them. Lately, we've been on a marinated lion's mane kick. We've been eating a lot of lion's mane, and we're gonna have lion's mane marinated recipes in the sushi book that's coming soon. So yeah, we do mushrooms. We think that that's fine. The only one that we don't do is the shiitake mushrooms, because a small portion of the population actually reacts to a compound in the shiitake mushrooms, and Nate is one of them. He gets a rash like poison ivy or poison oak, so we don't use shiitake mushrooms in anything. But, you know, like I said, there's other things. Lion's mane, we've been loving the lion's mane. It's so good. Next question we have, how do I make sure I'm getting enough calories and nutrition? Along the lines of one that we answered earlier, I recommend testing. If you want to know how much you're getting, test and track. Get your blood tested and track your calories to make sure that you're getting enough. Use something like Chronometer or MyFitnessPal, so you can see how much you're eating and make sure that you're eating enough and you're getting all of the required nutrients like selenium. You can grate a Brazil nut to get that. Again, calcium and iron, eat more greens and vegetables. There are so many things that you can do and tweak, but in order to know what to tweak, you have to track. So don't use it as a crutch and don't use it as an obsession. Use it as a genuine kind of exploration of the food that you're eating. Is soya sauce part of a raw diet? You can get raw soy sauce. It's unpasteurized soy sauce. It's called nama shoyu, and that is raw soy sauce. So if you want soy sauce on a raw diet, get the nama shoyu. It's unpasteurized, and you can have that on a raw diet. It's considered a living food, not necessarily a raw food, but a living food. Nate and I follow a raw and living food diet, so we do include fermented foods in our diet that are unpasteurized, but may have been cooked first, like miso has been cooked first, but it's fermented, so it's now alive. It's enzymatically active. There's a lot of probiotics in there, so it's considered a living food. Unpasteurized tempeh as well is considered a living food if it's unpasteurized. The tempeh at the store is all pasteurized, so the tempeh at the store is not raw, but if you make it yourself, you can make yourself, you cook the beans obviously, but then once it ferments, it becomes alive again. It like comes back from the dead. So you've got that is considered a living food, which is totally acceptable on a raw diet. So it's raw and living foods. So you can have, the soy sauce is a living food as long as it's unpasteurized. And again, that's called nama shoyu for the raw unpasteurized soy sauce, or you can use coconut aminos. Coconut aminos are actually pasteurized to prevent further fermentation. Otherwise the bottles pop and explode in the store. So they had to start heating it to stop that from happening because they were losing a lot of product because it was exploding. Next up, question 30. Doesn't eating all raw food cause bloating and digestive issues? So raw food isn't bad for us. Like people will eat raw food and then they'll get gassy and bloated and suddenly they say raw food isn't for us. Or to go extreme, like with when we talked about the fruitarians, sometimes they'll be like, oh, I can't do broccoli. Broccoli isn't human food because it gives me gas and bloating. It's not that broccoli isn't human food, and it's not that broccoli is bad. It's because their gut microbiomes are weaker and can't digest that fiber yet. Keyword is yet. You want to grow your microbiome so you can eat the broccoli. You want to grow your microbiome so it's strong so you can eat the other vegetables. The only way to do that though is to eat those vegetables. You just eat them in smaller amounts. So if broccoli causes issues, instead of eating 3 cups of broccoli and having the issues, start with 1 little floret. Like you could buy a little crown of broccoli and put 1 little floret, 1 tablespoon of chopped broccoli in your salad, just to give your bacteria that fiber source so it can grow and get stronger. Just like going to the gym, you start off with the 5-pound weights. You don't go in there and start lifting the 80-pound weights. We know that we don't do that. So start slowly with the new fibers and increase those slowly, and that will help to grow your gut over the weeks and months, even years it can take. I first started growing my microbiome when I started learning more about it in 2021. I did a microbiome test and my score was 83% out of 100. Fast forward to today, actually my last test that we did last year was 96%. It was just over 96% out of 100 for the gut score. So my gut, even though I've been raw for 10 years, just in the last 4 years has improved dramatically from increasing the variety of different foods that I'm eating. So it's all up to you how strong you want your gut by including those extra fibers and different foods in your diet as well. What's the best way, this is question 31, what's the best way to transition to raw vegan without shocking the digestive system? Again, along the lines of the last question, take your time. If you are coming from a diet that's like 5 grams of fiber a day, which the vast majority of North Americans are not eating nearly enough fiber in general, if you're coming from a very low fiber diet or a fiberless diet, you're gonna need to go slow. You can't jump from 5 grams of fiber a day to 80 grams of fiber a day. You're gonna have discomfort because your gut's not used to that amount of fiber. But you can gradually increase. So every day, add more fiber in smaller amounts and increase your raw food, increase those raw fibers, and then over time, as you slowly increase them, you will have a stronger digestion, you'll grow more bacteria, and you'll be able to digest them a lot easier than if you go head in straight and you dive in all in and you're like, this feels uncomfortable. It's usually because of your past diet and your past habits that is causing that discomfort. It's not the food itself, it's your weak microbiome that's not able to handle it yet. But you can grow it, you can work on it, and you can eventually eat all of that as well. How much linseeds do we need per day to get enough omega-3? Linseeds, otherwise known as flax seeds, you really just need a tablespoon of ground flax and you should get enough omega-3, especially if you're eating a lot of things like romaine lettuce and berries. Those also have omega-3s in them too. And more importantly, it's not just eating the omega-3 foods, but it's also lowering your omega-6 intake. Lowering the omega-6 intake, so lessening the amount of nuts, eliminating the oils, not eating a whole avocado with your meal. Like, you want to not only increase your omega-3, but decrease your omega-6. So you're more at a 1-to-1 ratio. That's going to be more ideal for you. But yeah, you just need a tablespoon is more than enough for your daily needs. Question 33, do you need probiotics on a raw diet, or does food provide enough? Probiotics are a really interesting conversation because there's been a lot of research coming in the previous few years talking about probiotics. And something that Dr. Greger shared a little while ago was that taking probiotics after a round of antibiotics has actually been shown to impede gut growth. It's better to not take anything after a round of antibiotics and just focus on the food. The prebiotics is what you need, not the probiotics. You need the prebiotics, which is the food for what's in your gut currently. You want to rebuild what's there by giving them their food source, which is fiber. Inulin-rich foods like onions, garlic, asparagus, chicory family things like endive, escarole, that kind of thing, sunchokes, jicama, those are all really high in inulin. Those are really beneficial to grow the microbiome. Cruciferous veggies are really good for growing the microbiome, but overall, general variety is important to grow the microbiome. The more variety of different fibers that you get into your diet, the stronger your microbiome will become. And those who focus on whole food sources of these prebiotics, which is basically any plant fiber, let's be honest, it's any plant fiber, but more importantly, the inulin-rich foods and things like that are going to build your microbiome more so than taking probiotics. We don't need to take probiotics on a raw diet. We just need to focus on building our microbiome with the prebiotic food source that our microbiome needs. If you want to supplement with probiotics, the best way to do that is with fermented foods. Sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, any of the fermented products are going to be loaded with probiotics. And they've actually been studied to be more effective than taking probiotic capsules. So I don't really recommend the probiotic capsules unless you need them short term to help you through something or what have you. But the food is where it's at. The prebiotics are what's going to build your gut more than anything, I think. Question 34, does eating too much fruit cause blood sugar spikes or insulin resistance? Again, we chatted about this earlier. I don't believe that it's fruit that's the problem. Again, it's fat that's the problem. The more fat we have in our diet, the more insulin resistant we become. Oils and animal products are the worst offenders, and then high fat diets are causing more insulin resistance. If you want to eat more plant foods, more fruits and vegetables, lower your fat intake, and then you can eat all of those and you will have much better success with your insulin when you're eating a low fat diet, lots of fruit, lots of vegetables, lots of greens, and that kind of thing. So I don't think it's fruit that's the problem. I think it's the fat. I have this like little saying that I've said many times before, but think of a crime scene. Fruit and fat were at the scene of the crime. Fat ran away and hid, but sugar's left there like, oh no, right? And sugar's there when the police get there. So they assume that sugar was the one that caused the problem because sugar was there. So they apprehend sugar and they lock sugar up, and then at the trial they're like, sugar, you're the fault or whatever. And sugar's like, it wasn't me, it was fat. But fat's like, sitting in the background laughing because it got away with it. So it's fat that's the problem. Fat is what's blocking insulin from doing its job. So it's not sugar that's the problem. And we've seen this countless times where people who have insulin resistance or diabetes reverse their diabetes by going on a low fat, high carb diet. It's not the sugar. Is it possible to heal osteoarthritis in my hip with a raw diet and avoid having to have a hip replacement? Is it possible to get cartilage to the hip to regrow? Do we need to take collagen? And I think there's a question in here about the collagen thing. If you want the nutrients to build your own collagen, take some Irish sea moss gel. We don't need to take collagen to make collagen. That's a misconception. That's a marketing technique to get people to buy collagen supplements. Collagen is just a chain of amino acids. And when we eat animal collagen, our body just breaks it down and uses it however it deems worthy, right? It doesn't take collagen and make collagen. It takes collagen and breaks it down and then uses it for all kinds of things because it's just amino acids. So taking collagen doesn't give you collagen, but you can take things that are high in what we need to make collagen. Irish moss is one of those things that's really beneficial. You can make a gel with the Irish moss and put like a tablespoon in your smoothies. That can help with the collagen stuff. Skin, hair, nails, joints, all that is really good for that. So when it comes to will raw heal this, I want to address that because that's really important. People tend to assume that a raw diet, if you go on a raw diet, you're never going to get sick, you're going to heal everything automatically 100%, you're going to be immortal, you're never going to get wrinkles, you're never going to age, your body's never going to change or whatever. They think that when you go on a raw diet, suddenly you're immortal and everything's going to be perfect and you're going to heal everything. But we are all human and we live in an imperfect world, and we can't heal absolutely 100% everything on a raw diet. If anyone gives you a guarantee that you can heal anything on a raw diet, run, because that is a tactic to get you to do it. And then when you don't notice the benefits, then you feel like, oh, the raw diet doesn't work because I didn't heal. But it's not about that. It's about supporting your body through whatever you're going through right now. And yes, a lot of people do heal on a raw diet. Yes, a lot of people feel amazing on a raw diet. Yes, people look younger on a raw diet, but it is not a guarantee, absolute, for sure, 100%. It's a great support for your body. So I would personally definitely recommend having more foods, raw foods in your diet. If not, go all raw and see how you feel and see how it goes. But I would also include lots of variety of greens, lots of microgreens, lots of sprouts, and lots of vegetables as well to give your body what it needs. And it's going to be very anti-inflammatory because arthritis has a lot of inflammation going on in there. So we want to lessen the inflammation by not eating the inflammatory foods. So raw foods are very low on the inflammation scale, so that's going to be helpful as well. But again, don't expect the guarantees. That's something that can set you up for disappointment. But that's not to say that you might not heal. I don't want to say that you can't. I just want to be realistic and say it's a better support. And if your body does heal, awesome. But you're likely going to feel a lot better, and it might prevent your surgery, but I cannot give a guarantee. It's actually irresponsible of social media people to give guarantees like that. Like, you won't need a surgery ever, right? Like, I can't say that. I don't want to give a guarantee and hurt you in that way. So I would recommend a raw diet for support, and obviously it's going to be amazing for your body as well if you do it balanced and you get a lot of nutrition in there, a lot of variety. It's going to be really helpful for you, among other things that you might include to help with that as well. So how much B12 do you take daily or weekly? I personally don't take any B12 at this time because my blood test doesn't say that I need to. So I recommend people take a blood test, see where their B12 is at, and then choose from there if they decide to supplement or not. It's not essential to take it if you don't need it. If your body is producing its own B12, you don't need to take a supplement. If you want to, you can for prevention measures. That's totally fine. But I haven't taken a B12 in a long time. I maybe take one like once in a while if I remember. I'll be like, oh yeah, I should take a B12. You know, I'll make like a couple times a year or whatever. But my blood test shows that my B12 is higher than mid-range. I'm not worried about it. My gut microbiome is very strong. I believe I'm making my own B12 because it shows on my blood test that I'm fine. If my blood test does show that I'm decreasing, which happens with age in everybody, it's not just a vegan thing. We all have to be worried about our B12, making sure that you test for it. And if you need some, take some. It's not a big deal. So it really depends on your needs. So what I take or don't take is not something that you should follow. You need to get your blood test done and check your B12 levels and then decide from there if you want to take a supplement or not. Thank you so much for putting the time and energy into sharing your knowledge and passion about the raw lifestyle with us. Truly means a lot. Thank you so much. My daydreams and musings. Thank you for sharing that. My pleasure. If you appreciate stuff like this, I highly suggest go grab the bundle. It's a great way to support us, to be able to do these lives and to hang out with you and to answer, like, I answer hundreds of DMs and emails a day. It's crazy how much I do behind the scenes. So if you really appreciate this, go grab the bundle. It's a great way to support us, but more importantly, it's a great way to support you. The bundle link is in my bio. You can leave this live and go get the bundle, and then come back because I'll still be here. We've got quite a few questions still to go through. Is Irish moss the same as sea moss? Yes, there are different types of Irish moss out there. There's like green colored and purple colored and other colored, and lots of companies are going to fight with each other being like, ours is the best, ours is real, whatever. We just get Irish moss, whatever looks good. We get that. There are so many companies out there selling Irish moss. So yeah, just get one and try it. Maybe try different brands and see which one you like. It's totally up to you. Beautiful information, Melissa. Thank you. Thank you, Renee. Wonderful that you're here. Wonderful that everyone's here. Thank you for joining me for this live. This is so much fun. I know I keep talking. We've got some more questions left. Here we go. Question 35. How long did it take for you to see results? How long will it take for me? This is a good one. It 100% depends on where you're coming from, what you eat, what's happening, what kind of symptoms you have, what are you looking for. Every single person is going to have a different journey. So my journey is going to be very different from your journey. It took me different times to notice different things, and it's going to take you different times to notice different things. And it's really all about supporting our body through stuff. It took about 4 to 5 months before my acne stopped breaking out in cysts. So even though it was breaking out, I kept going. I was like, I'm just going to keep going. I know I'm supporting my body, even though I have these symptoms. I kept going, and then suddenly they stopped. So, it takes time. It takes time. Give yourself patience. Be consistent. Be consistent even though you don't see it yet. Every time you choose raw, you are moving towards better health. It took about 7 or 8 months before my hormones stabilized. It took me almost a year and a half to lose 70 pounds. My candida went away. I don't even know when my candida went away. It was just kind of a gradual change. And then all of a sudden one day I was like, I don't have digestive issues. My candida's gone. I haven't been sick in forever. You just notice these things as you go through time. I don't have like specifics for most stuff because it was just a gradual change and gradual noticing. So it's going to be different for everybody. So just stick with it. Keep supporting your body to the best of your abilities, and just observe yourself. The bundle is a steal, says Cindy. It took me forever to download everything to my Dropbox. We don't have a download all button because if you use the download all button, there's so many things in the bundle that it clogs the download and you don't get everything. So we disabled that because we would get hundreds of messages being like, I didn't get this and I didn't get this and I didn't get this. So we disabled the download all bundle or button. It's actually easier to just download everything individually. It doesn't take that long. I mean, it does feel like it takes forever because you keep clicking download, download, download. But once it's downloaded, it's yours forever. You get to keep it. I'm happy that you put it in Dropbox because that is a cloud storage. So if anything happens to any of your devices, you can always access your Dropbox and put them back on your new device if something happens or whatever. We do recommend backups. So go grab the bundle. All of you who are watching, it's a great way to support us and support yourself. The bundle link is in my bio or in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. Get the bundle. There's so many amazing, delicious things in there. About 30% of the bundle is raw focused. You're getting 83 downloads valued at $5,600 and you only pay $49, but you only have 4 days left to get it. So click that link in my bio or in the description box below and go grab it. Okay, question 36. We've got 55 questions. These are common questions that we get asked as raw vegans. Okay, 36. What do you do in the winter when raw produce is harder to find? So my first 5 years as a raw vegan were spent in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So I went through 5 winters in Canada as a raw foodie. So I experienced this firsthand. Number one, I was grateful for what I could get. I didn't get down on the fact that I couldn't afford all kinds of tropical fruit or I didn't have the availability. I was grateful for what I could get. Secondly, I did things like, warming soups up in the blender. You can warm to raw, which is about 115 degrees Fahrenheit. If it's warm to that, it's still raw. So you can blend it in a high-speed blender, blend the base and warm it up a little bit. You can warm things up in the dehydrator. You can warm ceramic bowls in the dehydrator if you want something warm to hold and you want to keep your soup a little warmer. Just warm it up in the dehydrator. You can do that. But the number one tip I have, and this goes for everything, is to eat enough. Again, broken record on this topic. Eating enough is super important because when you undereat, the first things to go in your body to downregulate is your metabolism and your hormones. Those are the first two things. And then you start losing your hair. So your hormones are downregulated because if you're starving, if you're not eating enough calories, how are you going to have a baby? So your hormones are downregulated and your metabolism is downregulated. Think of hibernation. If you're not eating enough, your body is going to need to slow its metabolism way, 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 way down to conserve energy because you're not giving it energy. So think of your food as like coals going into a train furnace. You need to put coals in to burn for the train to go. Just like the body, you need to put fuel into your body for your metabolism to function properly. If you're under eating, you're gonna feel cold all the time. And what I noticed living in Canada, I lived there until I was 39. I moved to the United States to marry Nate when I was 39 years old. And of all of those years, I ate raw and I ate cooked, and I know the difference between the two. If I was eating all cooked food, warm food, if I was under eating, if I was going through a period of calorie restriction, it didn't matter how hot the food was, I was cold all the time because my metabolism was down regulated and I was conserving energy. So I wasn't burning it, I wasn't feeling warm more often. When I went raw, even though I wasn't eating cooked food or hot food, my body temperature went up because I was eating enough calories. I was eating over 2,000 calories a day, low fat, high carb, and my body temperature finally regulated for the first time in my life because I was always used to calorie restriction. I was doing like a binge restrict cycles all the time until I went raw. I finally was eating adequate calories and my body temperature regulated, my metabolism regulated when I was eating enough. So it's super important to eat enough on a raw diet in the winter to maintain proper metabolism so you feel better. You can also do things like jumping jacks, make sure that you have healthy body movement in there as well to stimulate your circulation. Having warming herbs and spices like cayenne pepper, rosemary is really good for circulation. Adding those to your raw meals can help in the winter as well. When produce is hard to find, again, just be grateful. Till you were 39, you look 25. Thank you so much. I'm actually 45 right now, so that's very kind of you to say. The raw diet definitely helps a lot. How do I get rid of the white tongue on a raw diet? I don't believe that this is a thing, like the whole white tongue, you have to have like a perfectly pink, pure tongue. This is all in the detox realm, which I don't dive into because I think that it can be really restrictive and it causes a lot more problems. I speak with hundreds, if not thousands of people who have issues doing those detoxes and trying to get like this perfect tongue or this, like whatever it is. So I don't buy into that. If you are dehydrated, you're gonna have a white tongue. If you're having too much sodium in your diet, you can have a white tongue. It has nothing to do with detox. If you mouth breathe when you're sleeping, you can have a white tongue. It has nothing to do with diet for the most part. So I wouldn't worry too much about, having that. Can we eat raw potatoes or raw sweet potatoes? Yes. So I would not do raw potatoes, like the russets or the yellow potatoes or whatever. Those are really high in solanine, not ideal for us. Sweet potatoes, however, sweet potatoes and yams, yes, you can eat raw. They're crunchier, obviously, they're hard, like a really hard apple. But what we like to do is we like to add the sweet potatoes to our wraps. And if you want the wrap recipes, we do have some in the bundle right now. Link is in my bio or in the description box below. The wrap recipes are inside the Tales from the Tailgate ebook, where we do use sweet potatoes for specifically wraps, like the Everything But the Bagel one, which is in that book. That's the one we love to take most of traveling. I have that recipe memorized, so we make that one the most often. So yeah, raw sweet potatoes, you can even spiralize them and put them in your salad. Again, they are crunchier. They're definitely not like cooked, obviously. But yes, you can have them on a raw diet. Can you recommend a reasonable rebounder? Great question, Diane. So we have the Jump Sport, and we got that. The only reason we bought that brand was because that's what we found on Marketplace. We were looking for a rebounder with bungee cords, and somebody was selling their Jump Sport for $60 when regularly they sell for $350. And we found that just on Marketplace. Somebody was selling their old one that they weren't using, so we bought it for $60. We recommend if you get a rebounder, there are many different brands out there. I know Chris Kendall, you should go to Chris Kendall's website, therawadvantage.com. He's got some rebounder stuff on there, and I think he has a discount code for the one that he uses, Bellicon, I think it is. That's a really great one as well. I think it's Bellicon. He might be using a different one. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it. But Bellicon is a good one. Jump Sport's a good one. But anything that has the bungee cords instead of the metal springs is going to be a good rebounder as well. You can get different sizes. You can get bars to hold yourself up and all kinds of stuff. But we have the Jump Sport. Okay, thank you. What about dandruff and dry skin? Can a raw diet fix these problems? Again, it depends. I don't like giving guarantees because I can't guarantee that it'll work, but dandruff and dry skin is usually due to the humidity of where you live. It could have nothing to do with the diet. It really depends on why you have the dandruff and the dry skin. If you're living at high elevations or in a dry climate, then you tend to have more dry skin and dandruff than if you were to live in a more humid climate or a warmer climate. So there's that too. Keep in mind as well. But your essential fats are going to play a really big role. So I would definitely recommend looking at your omega-3 to 6 ratio. You can get a blood test that you can do at home from omegaquant.com, OMEGAQUANT.com. They do at-home tests where you prick your finger and you squeeze the blood onto a little sheet and you mail it in, and they test your omega-3 balance. So you can see if you need more omega-3s, and most people do. I mean, we're not getting enough omega-3s, so flax, chia are your best sources, followed by hemp and walnut. They're more of a 1-to-1 ratio, so they're decent, but flax and chia are gonna be your best bets for that, and staying hydrated is absolute key. And a raw diet does a very good job at this, but you still need to drink water. Make sure you get enough water in there too. And check your shampoos. What are you using as a shampoo? Because sometimes that can cause dry skin as well. What are you using as a body lotion or body products? Because even though you might be eating a really healthy diet, if your skincare isn't up to par, or you're using some harsher chemicals, that can strip your body of the natural oils and cause dry skin and dandruff as well. So make sure you look into that. We use Morocco Method for our hair care right now. We really love that company. It's raw and vegan. So the ingredients in the shampoos are raw, they're not heated, and they are vegan. So we use that. The thing is, Morocco Method, if you want a link for Morocco Method, send me a DM and I'll send you a link with a 25% off code. With Morocco Method, it doesn't foam. You don't get the foaming action from, just give me a second here. Hold on. Oh. Okay, I need to charge my phone because it's dying. I've been live for forever with you guys. So I do need to charge here. I hope it doesn't kick me off. So hopefully that doesn't happen. So anyways, Morocco Method doesn't foam up. So it feels really weird when you are washing your hair with it. It takes some getting used to because there is zero foam. We also use Osea or Osea Malibu skincare for our body, so that's an option as well. Chris uses a Bellicon. It's out of my budget. It is a very expensive rebounder. Jump Sport is less expensive, but I definitely encourage you to check Marketplace because you might be able to find something there. Will you be at the Plant Powered Party in August? Yes, I will. Nate and I will be demoing food at Chef AJ's Plant Powered Party here in Las Vegas. So I'm going to get a link for that soon, I believe, so that you can sign up and get tickets to come to that. Let's plow through some of these questions because we've been on live for a really long time and I want to get through the rest of these questions. We're on question 38. Are fermented foods part of a raw vegan diet? Yes, fermented foods are. They are considered living foods. So we follow a raw, vegan, and living food diet. So we eat fermented foods, which are considered living foods. Tess says, I really appreciate the in-depth answer. I live in Ontario. I haven't used any shampoo in a couple of months. I'll check the soaps out. If you haven't been using shampoo, that could be an issue as well. Some people notice that there's a buildup of dead skin cells, which can cause flakiness as well. So it's good to make sure that you nourish your scalp. It's important too. So yeah, check into them as well. Question 39. What can I eat when I'm sick? Can you still follow raw vegan guidelines? Of course you can. If I was to feel sick or under the weather, I would still follow the raw diet. I would probably hydrate a lot more than I normally would. And most importantly, if I was feeling under the weather, I would sleep. I would sleep as much as I humanly possibly could and give my body its chance to fight it off and just rest. Rest is the ultimate thing that you can do. Have your hydrating fruits and veggies, have simple things like smoothies, little light salads or whatever you can handle. But yes, you can do it definitely on a raw diet. Question 40, can I get enough collagen supporting nutrients without animal products? Yes, you can. As mentioned earlier, Irish moss is an excellent source of what we need to build our own collagen. When we eat collagen, we don't make collagen from it. You know, our body breaks it down into amino acids and then it does what it wants to do with it, right? We can't force our body to make collagen from collagen, so we don't need animal products for it. Eat enough, eat variety, have some Irish moss gel in there. That can be really helpful too. Do you have tips for eating raw and vegan when you have a limited budget? Good question. I would definitely recommend being okay with eating conventional produce. You don't have to eat all organic to be a raw vegan. Nate and I don't eat all organic. We eat as much as we can organic, but we don't stress out about it. If it doesn't fit in the budget, we buy regular conventional produce. It's not that big of a deal to us. So we make sure that we get that. Shop at stores that are well priced. Go to ethnic stores because ethnic stores tend to have better produce prices, like Latino stores like we have a Mexican market here that is so amazing. La Bonita, super great prices. We have the Asian markets, 99 Ranch and International Marketplace. They have amazing prices on food as well. So go check out some other places. The Italian market, when I was in Canada, they had epic prices on produce. So shop around, look around different stores. Don't spend all your money in Whole Foods because if you are on a limited budget, that's going to be super challenging. Question 41, how does a raw vegan diet affect hormones, especially for women? If you want to support your hormones, you can do raw maca powder. You can buy raw maca powder, which is basically just dried and ground up maca root, which is a root vegetable, and it's considered raw. If you get the raw one, then you can add that to your smoothies, which is a good hormone support. But hormones get balanced when we improve our sleep, when we move our body, when we spend time in the sun, and when we eat a whole food plant-based diet. And you can eat high raw as well, or all raw if you want. It's all going to be beneficial. It's all going to support us. Obviously, it's not going to supplement the hormones as we age in menopause, specifically for women. We just stop making estrogen when we go through menopause, and that just happens. So if we want to support our body, we want to support our adrenal glands that take over for our ovaries, and we can support our hormones on a raw diet. And you want to make sure you eat enough. I'm going to say this again, especially for women, eat enough calories. When we undereat, everything is challenged. Our hormones are challenged, our skin is challenged, our digestion is challenged, everything's challenged when we don't eat enough. We got to eat enough, and we got to start eating earlier in the day. Intermittent fasting doesn't really work for most women, if not all women. We need to make sure that our bodies are on a regular schedule, eating as often as we can, and eating earlier so we get adequate calories in. It's really hard to get enough calories on a raw diet when you're trying to eat only one meal a day. It's super hard. You can only fit like 500 to 700 calories in your stomach at any given moment. So how are you going to eat 2,400 calories in one meal? It just doesn't work on a raw diet. So we do need to eat more often. Start earlier in the day, and you're probably going to feel so much better as well. So does a raw diet provide enough zinc, iodine, and selenium? Zinc, yeah, if you eat enough and you eat variety, you can easily get enough. If you want to look up iodine-rich fruits and vegetables, you can. Sea vegetables are a great option. So make that sushi, have that nori, add some dulse to your salad. Zinc as well. Eat more foods, eat more plant foods, eat more variety, and you can gradually get up the zinc. I think we eat around 12 milligrams of zinc a day, which is higher than the RDA, I think is 8. I can't remember. But selenium, just grate a Brazil nut on your salad every day. And there you go for your selenium. It's very easy if you do the research and you make sure that you include those things and you eat enough. Super important. Question 44. How do you handle social pressure and expectations or criticism about being pure and perfect? Good question. I know a lot of people, we talked about this earlier, we touched on it, about if you're raw vegan, you shouldn't ever have any wrinkles and your body should never change. You shouldn't look older or whatever. Like, we're human beings. We're gonna go through life, and diet isn't immortality. Yes, we can look younger. Yes, we can feel better. Yes, we can heal certain things, but it's not immortality, and we're not here to be pure and perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect. That's why they call it a yoga practice, not a yoga perfect, because it's about practicing it every day. So every day we practice raw food, we don't reach this level of perfection and purity and stuff. I just aim to eat as best as I can. I don't force my body into any like intense detoxes or anything like that. So it's just about eating whole food and including more into our diet. And I just released that. In the beginning, it was really challenging because, I got judged a lot for specific things that I was eating as a raw vegan. I had to really just release it and be like, that is their opinion of what I should be eating, but I want to eat this and that and the other thing on a raw diet, so I'm going to eat that. And it really takes time to just let it roll off your back and do what works best for you. And if you want to support yourself with more raw food options, get the bundle. The link is in my bio or in the description box below. You're getting 83 downloads valued at nearly $5,600. About 30% of the bundle is raw focused. You're getting my brand new Align and Awaken Affirmation Meditation Challenge. It's 30 videos. Each one is different, 25 to 30 minutes a day. They are affirmation videos Over the 30 days, you'll say 3,000 affirmations with me. This course retails for $197, but you get it when you buy the bundle for $49. So it's the best way to get access to this class, and it's been changing people's lives. We've been sharing them in the community. I've gotten some DMs of people who've already started using them, and they're like, my sleep has improved. I feel better about myself. I feel calmer through the day. So get that. That's part of the bundle. You get that. You get the burger book, Tales from the Tailgate, Nate's brand new smoothie ebook, Meal Plan 3, Make It Raw 3, Holiday Menu 3. You get so many amazing things in this bundle. So please go grab it if you wanted to enjoy all the content that we have. You only have 4 days left to do so. So grab it now before it's gone. You can always come back to this live. Does eating raw vegan change your mood and mental clarity? I personally believe that it does, because you're no longer eating foods that are pulling your energy down. You're hydrating yourself. You're giving your brain the fuel it desires, which is glucose. It runs on sugar. So we need to feed our brains. Mental clarity has improved dramatically, but also because I healed my microbiome by growing it with a variety of plant foods, my microbiome battled the candida, which was causing a lot of my brain fog before I went raw. When I went raw, I started eating a variety of plant foods, which again, healed my microbiome and fought off the yeast for me, and my mental clarity went up because of that as well. So not only was it the hydration, the energy from the sugar, but also my microbiome was balanced and I didn't have candida symptoms anymore, which brain fog is a candida symptom, and that went away when I went raw as well. Question 47, how do you deal with emotional eating when everything you eat is fresh and whole? This is a good question. To deal with emotional eating, you have to go to the root of why you're choosing that food in an emotional time. So if you're stressed out, bored, or you need that comfort or what have you, ask yourself why you need it. What is that connection with the food that you feel you need from eating that food? And then from there, you want to ask yourself, what can you do instead that doesn't involve that food? Can you go read a good book, call a friend, take a bath, go for a walk, do some yoga, do a meditation, get in the kitchen and prep something healthy? What is it that you can do that can help heal that emotional need for that food? So it's going to take some work, and you're going to have to ask yourself, you're going to have to dig deep into yourself, because what I do could be different from you. Like, I like to take a warm bath. I like to get in the kitchen and prepare raw food because that really helps to heal me emotionally as well. So it really depends on you. What is it that heals you? Will this live be posted? I would love to go back and watch from the beginning. Yes, this live will be posted on YouTube. It's a long one. We've been live for like 3 hours now or more. But yes, it'll be on YouTube. Hopefully the whole entire thing downloads. I'm going to try and get through the rest of these questions because I do have a live later. 48, can you recreate traditional cultural foods on a raw diet? Yes, you can. Of course you can. You can recreate a lot of really fun things. In the bundle, if you buy the bundle, $49, it gets you access to everything. You can download the Make It Raw Volume 3 ebook, where I have Swedish style meatballs. I have the balela salad, which is like an Egyptian type of salad. There's pierogi in there. There's gnocchi, which is an Italian classic. You can definitely make certain things raw. Not everything can be made raw, and it's going to taste different. But how about we embrace new traditions and we can change certain things and make them raw? So yes, you can definitely make cultural dishes. It really depends on what it is and what you have available to you. 49, do you believe in detox symptoms when switching to a raw diet? How do you handle them? So when I first went raw, obviously I was expecting a bunch of detox symptoms because that's what everyone said I was going to go through, but I didn't go through any detox symptoms because, and this is my opinion, this is what I think, I was eating a very, very high variety and high fiber diet. The fiber is what traps the toxins. Also, we have 2 phases of detox in our body. We have phase 1, yay! We have phase 1, which inactivates, or it doesn't inactivate, it changes the toxin into a more volatile substance. Phase 1 does that. It converts it into this super volatile substance. Phase 2 comes in and inactivates that. So phase 2 is the more important part because we don't want that volatile toxin floating through our system, damaging our cells. Phase 2 is extremely important for detox. And phase 2 is supported with whole food nutrition, specifically from cruciferous vegetables, which have been shown to heavily support phase 2 detox. So things like broccoli, cauliflower, radishes, radish microgreens, broccoli microgreens, any of the cruciferous veggies are going to be very supportive to daily detox. And I ate a lot of those, and I still do, on my raw diet. So I heavily encourage to eat a wide variety of food and get whole fiber, the insoluble and the soluble, in the complete package, the way food made it. And that will help to pull those toxins out of your body so you don't get the auto intoxication, all these detox symptoms. And a lot of detox symptoms are actually symptoms of under eating as well. Most people, when they go on a raw diet, they're eating like half or less of the calories that they used to, and they'll get headaches, mood swings, irritability, and then they assume that's detox. But most detox symptoms are actually symptoms of under eating. So make sure that you eat more calories if you are experiencing those symptoms. It's not always detox. Please don't default to detox because that can be very dangerous. A lot of detox symptoms that people think are detox are actually also nutritional deficiencies. So make sure that you know why you are having the symptom that you're having, and don't default immediately to detox because it could be something else more serious that you need to address. It's not always detox, especially if you're eating really high fiber. It could be something else like under eating or nutritional deficiency. Question 50, we only have like 6 more left. How do you balance eating raw food without being too restrictive or obsessed with perfect health? Good question. I like balance, so I strive for balance. I don't want to do anything super restrictive because if I can't do it long term, then I don't want to do it short term. So that's how I do it. I don't get obsessed or restrictive. I try to really release that. That's why we don't eat all organic. And you know what, we want to have fun with our food. We want to have fun with life. That doesn't mean eating cooked food or junk food or whatever. It means just not being so super stressed out about everything that's in our diets. Like, you know, being stressed out about microplastics, they're everywhere. We can't prevent it. Yes, we can do what we can, but you know, we can't eliminate them. So in order to, you know, live a decent life that's not loaded with anxiety, we have to release that and just do the best that we can. 51, question 51, what's the biggest mistake people make when transitioning to a raw diet? I've mentioned this so many times over this live. The number 1 mistake is not eating enough. The number 2 mistake is not eating enough variety. They're, you know, limited to like 4 foods or whatever. It's not ideal to do it that way long term. We need to eat variety and we need to eat enough. Key is eating enough. Most people struggle on a raw diet because they're just not eating enough. Question 52 is, how do you handle cravings for salty, crunchy, or umami flavors in a raw diet? Cravings for salty, use miso paste if you're looking for a whole food kind of source of salt. That's going to be an option. It's also going to include the umami as well. Mushrooms are a great umami, like we've been doing marinated lion's mane and it's been so delicious. So highly recommend that as well. Crunchy kale chips are really good, as well as dehydrated cauliflower that's been frozen and thawed and marinated in like a almond flour batter or some nutritional yeast seasonings and stuff. Actually, if you get the bundle, link is in my bio or in the description box below, you get to download the burger book. And inside the burger book, there is a recipe for avocado fries. Number 1, the avocado fries are amazing. They are so good. I highly recommend you try them. But the coating for the avocado fries, you can coat frozen and thawed cauliflower with the coating for the avocado fries and dehydrate for like 18 hours. And you've got some like crunchy cauliflower crunchies that you could take for like movie nights or something like that. And that is a very good crunchy option. We also like to add dried onion flakes to our salads to give it a little extra crunch. So dried onion flakes are a great way to add crunch to your salads. You can also make the onion rings, which are fabulous. Those are in the burger book. Link in my bio to get the bundle. When you buy the bundle, you get to download my burger book. You can make the onion rings as well. Those are so good, sprinkled on a salad too, and they're nice and crunchy and delicious. So definitely go check that out. Question number 53, how do you make a raw diet not boring? You get the bundle. Buy the bundle, $49, gets you access to 83 downloads, and 30% of those downloads are raw focused. If you're looking for some interesting, fun, raw food to make it not boring, get the bundle and try out some of the fun recipes. Take the time to make some really cool recipes, make the wraps. It's not just salads and smoothies. I mean, those are great, and we eat a lot of those, but we also like to make wraps and burgers and tacos, and all of those you can make in the bundle as well. We have so many recipes in there. It's definitely not boring. I feel like I eat way more variety and way more fun foods now than I ever have in my whole life. And that's why I stay raw, because I love the food that I'm eating and I really like to get creative in the kitchen. Question 54, we only have 2 left. What is the top #1 food that has everything? Ooh, I love this question because I feel like people think that a food has to have everything, otherwise why bother, right? This is not the case. We need to eat a variety of foods. So the food that has everything is a variety of food. We don't need to rely on one thing to get everything. We gotta get stuff from everywhere. And that's why variety is so powerful, because we can have so much other stuff in our diet. So it's not one thing. Every food has its awesomeness. So we want to include a little bit of everything to get a little bit of the awesomeness from everything. Holistic Indigo is asking, what is the other 70% in the bundle? You say 30% as raw, so the rest is video content. So we got a lot of video content from plant-based doctors. In fact, if you buy the bundle, again, link in my bio or in the description box below, there is a product in there from Dr. McDougall's family. It's the legacy of Dr. McDougall. So you get to download, I think it's like 7 gigs from their product alone worth of video content from Dr. McDougall. So you can enjoy those. There's also Chef AJ's Live Your Best Life conference videos. This was a conference that she did in July of 2024, and only the people who attended got those videos, but now they're available to you in the bundle. So when you buy the bundle, link in my bio, you get to download those and watch those. So there's a lot of video content, but there's some cooked food in there as well. So it's whole food, plant-based, oil-free. That's the goal of the bundle. So there is a lot of raw content in there, but there's also some cooked food in there as well that you can make for your family and your friends. You can take to potlucks. You can even make some of them raw. Some of the recipes are actually accidentally raw, or you can switch up a couple things and make it raw. Like instead of using cooked chickpeas, use sprouted chickpeas, and then there you go, you have a raw salad with chickpeas in it. So there are options that you can do that can help you to choose more raw food, but also to help your family and your friends if you're making those meals for them as well. So check it out. Again, the bundle link is in my bio or in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. Final question. It's the same question. Does anyone have an extra question? Because it's the same question. I think it got typed twice. Does anyone have a final question for me on raw food? If anyone want to ask? I know there was 55, so I know I answered way more questions in the chat as well. So if you have a question, post there. I think, a lot of people ask too, is it sustainable to do raw long term? Of course it is. You can definitely do it. I've been raw now for over 10 years, so that's totally possible as well. There's so many questions that people ask about a raw food diet, and we want to help you to eat more raw food. So if these questions helped you at all, please go grab the bundle. Get the link in the bio or in the description box below and enjoy more of the raw content. If you have any other questions beyond these questions, please send me a DM. I'm more than happy to answer. If you're struggling with anything on a raw diet, please ask in the DMs. I'm more than happy to help you. Patricia says, no question, I just love you and thank you for always sharing your knowledge. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and thank you to everyone who bought the bundle. Thank you for hanging out with me. We have a great question here. Question 55. How can I find you on YouTube? Yes, you can go to YouTube, Lissa's Raw Food Romance on YouTube, and we've got over 1,000 videos on there, loaded with all kinds of stuff from the very beginning of my journey to now. You know, like, we're all human, we all change, and it's okay to change, and it's okay to morph into who you are and just enjoy your life, enjoy your food, add more raw food, and have some fun. Sherry says, this was awesome. I'm going to buy the bundle. Thank you so much for buying the bundle. It's a great way to support us. We deeply appreciate you buying the bundle. Again, link is in my bio here on Instagram or in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you so much for not only supporting us, but mostly supporting yourself and giving yourself this opportunity to have more content, enjoy the videos, learn some things. Like Chef Ramsay's Bravo, he's got over 170 videos teaching whole food plant-based like kitchen techniques and stuff. Maybe you'll learn something that can help your raw food journey out from those videos. Like, even though there's some cooked food things in there, you can still learn from those cooked food recipes. You can get inspiration to make raw versions of them. So it's really, there's something for everybody in there. There's a yin yoga class course in there too. So yin yoga, you get my affirmation meditation video course, which helps to change your core beliefs about how you believe about yourself and raw food. So yeah, go check it out. Thank you so much for grabbing it. Thank you for hanging out with me for this live. I'm gonna go take a little break now because we've been live forever, it seems like, and I've got other lives today as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah. You're so appreciated, and we will see you back for more lives later today. Until then, fruit on.